All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm sorry for that little bit of a delay. We were having some troubles with the coordinator, but it looks like everything is good to go now, and we are going to have some Dota 2 TI
That's
time.
way stronger words than I would have used. I've been like, I think that we're about to start, but something could always go wrong. You never know.
You never
But it does
know.
seem like things are about to start. We had some lobby issues. We just restarted our lobbies. Everybody's in the lobby. It seems like maybe missing like one or two, but probably starting soon is my assumption. I just want to formally apologize, guys. Before, when we were reading Twitch chat, I was reading the wrong Twitch chat the whole time. And after it happened, I was like, did they know? And honestly, I have no
No,
idea.
someone did. Someone called you out,
Did they?
actually. Yep, yep. They said, Moxie, can you make sure that Purge is reading the correct Twitch chat this time?
Yeah,
Because
there
he
were
was
some
reading a
tells.
different
There were some
page.
tells. But in our defense, we are on stream C internally in the documents. So I was like, C is gonna be stream 3, but in reality, it starts stream 1 or stream A starts on TI underscore 2 or whatever
Yes,
Twitch.
because we've got the multi-stream. If you head over to the
Yes.
main one, and then after that, we're all followed by numbers, and it gets a little bit thrown off, just a tiny little bit. So
Yeah, so I was trying to steer the ship the whole time, but I was trying to steer people that literally weren't watching
I was
us.
impressed with the way that you were trying to
Yeah,
steer him, though.
thank you. That's what I do every time I stream. Got to correct the ship. Very important. But we are still super excited to watch the games if they happen. And when they do, we're going to be really freaking excited. And I bet we're getting close. I haven't seen much action in lobby quite yet.
Well, the good news is that we have seen the pick and the side pick up. So, we're
Have
on
we?
the right. Yes, we're on the right track
Oh, there
here.
it is.
It is. It's over
Let me
there.
hide this. How do I do this? I don't toggle
You toggle.
broadcasting.
There you go.
There
You've
we
only been
go.
casting for how long, homie?
I'd only figured out how to do this like literally a year and a half ago. They're like, "Don't you know when the coin spins?" And I'm like, "I've never seen that in my whole life." And they're like, "You have to toggle the broadcast." 'Cause as a caster, you like join the slots, you
Right,
know.
right, right.
And as a player, that was like more of a recent thing. They used to coin flip in lobby chat. You would type /flip, and it would say X player gets whatever, you know. But there's like an actual coin that like
Yeah, yeah.
spins. Yeah, I didn't
It's
see
a
that all the
very
time.
neat graphic.
Anyways, for those
It
that
improves
care,
the experience.
first priority goes to Virtus.pro. Second priority gets Undying. So VP won the coin toss, and VP chose Radiant, and Undying chose second pick. Radiant has a higher win rate than Dire. That's pretty standard. Has advantages for being closer to Roche. Typically, you have more TP points. Your top tier 1 tower is valuable for Roche proximity, as is your mid tower. So, that's one of the things that increases your win rate. Generally,
Really walk us through some of these things.
it's I don't necessarily know them, so it's easier just to talk about
Fair,
platitudes
fair.
like, oh, well, there are things you could say. I will choose not to. It's because I don't always know
Mm-hmm.
all the small advantages. There's like juke paths and like how much time does it take to get from the mid lane to the small camp or from the mid lane to another jungle camp. There's like things like that. Guys, you're not gonna believe this, but the game just started. I'm so excited. All right, let's see what's gonna happen. Virtus.pro versus Undying. We talked a lot about them earlier. I think it was yesterday. No, it was an hour and a half ago. Very similar.
It is Radiant's
But the
battle.
draft is beginning, and I can't wait to see how this goes. All right.
Let's go. Let's dive on in. Of course, we do have some
Turn
new
to
things that are
battle.
going on with the particular patch. We do have, of course, Dawnbreaker has been added to Captain's Mode. But I think, doing all of our homework, which we did earlier on, we realized that, Monkey King and Tiny, very, very popular. I also expect to see, some Sand King, some Earthshaker popping up here and there. And
Earthshaker was the big one, and like almost all the pub data that's been happening before the tournament, every team has played quite a lot of Earthshaker games.
it's that and Sand King. It seems to be the two.
Sand King too?
Yeah, those are the two really big ones that keep cropping up every time that I'm
5
doing my
seconds
research here, no matter
remaining.
what, region you come from.
But without a doubt, the Monkey King and the Tiny were the ones that pretty much everybody expected to be like heavily picked in there. So yeah, we got 3 out of the 4. Io was somebody people talked about a couple weeks ago. I would say it's like, oh, Io's probably top band, but as the weeks went on, Tiny and Monkey got a little bit different priorities. So if you are a little bit new to Dota and you don't know what second pick, wow, there she is.
There she is, Dawn Mommy.
If-
Let's
if-
go.
If you're a little
Let's
new to
go.
Dota, second pick means that it's the order of drafting. So while VP gets the
MMR
first
is just
overall
a
pick, now
number.
Undying gets
MMR
involved
is
with
just
2
a
picks
number.
together, which is generally seen as the better of the picking orders. But VP valued Radiant very highly, and it could be for lots of reasons. It could be because like they have a Radiant strat that they want to run. They have like some heroes that work better on the Radiant side versus the Dire side. Sometimes that happens. Like you want to play Medusa on Dire side usually because the camps are closer together, so you farm faster, for example. But maybe it's Radiant Dawnbreaker. There's some lore synergy going on. I think that's what VP's doing. TI's on the line, but it's all about lore and synergy with design decisions. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sir Action Slacks.
Tell me a little bit about Dawnbreaker, if you can. What do you got?
So Dawnbreaker, I believe that she was created by the Keeper of the Light, and that she is not actually...
You would create a woman. Makes sense.
Yeah, he's a pretty thirsty old man.
He is.
Yeah, Creeper of the Light, as we like to call him.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
close.
I hate this hero. It makes sense that we're seeing Silencer. It feels very strong and powerful. And also the Sand King, which we discussed, was just has a high pick rate in those pubs. But yeah, I hate Silencer. He is just so obnoxious during the laning stage, and like you have to be so careful that you don't mess up with your, you know, losing too much int. But like I had this conversation actually with Fogged on the shuttle over for one of the days, and he was saying, you know, yeah, Silencer's strong during that laning phase, but when it comes time as it gets later into the game, you've got so many ways to like purge off all of his spells, right? You know, you've got Witchbane, you've got, you know, Flicker, you've got all this, so it really doesn't scale too
Eul
late.
Scepters and Lotus Orbs, and yeah, there's...
Yeah, just the neutral items alone, like you have things
Yeah,
like, to
that's
handle
true.
them.
There's a lot of neutral items that can really help. But yeah, Silencer's laning stage is pretty good. It gives you pretty good team fight advantage in certain circumstances. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Silencer against any opening, but against Dawnbreaker, you could say it's pretty good typically too, because you can prevent her from using her ulti. One of the big advantages is that she can always show up. She's basically a save hero. That's where you get your advantage out of her. And frankly, I'm a little surprised to see her picked. There was talk about her being good. A lot of the pub win rates were weak on her, even though a lot of teams messed around with her. Some teams didn't touch her much. But her advantage is basically you try to kill one of her teammates, she starts pumping out heal, she turns that fight globally. And if she can do that, she has good value. If that doesn't work out so good, or you have a couple misses like that, her team fight impact are a lot weaker than some other heroes. So she can have some issues. Storm Spirit is the reaction for VP though, very strong mid hero right now. It's not seen as necessarily insane, but it's very mobile. You can, when you're lane, you can farm jungles quickly, you can gank the map, you can team fight well, you can split push. There's a lot of good things about Storm.
Yeah, it seemed that he was very, very popular. And of course, GPK, definitely one of those very aggressive kind of players over in that mid lane. He's going to want to make things happen very early on. And when you have something like a Dawnbreaker, you're able to have that global presence once you get the 6. So you can really coordinate quite well.
That's a good point.
And be able to, you know, make things happen early. And that's something that VP, they love to do this, right? They get that momentum going, and they just never take their feet off the gas pedal.
Yeah, that's really true. And in some ways, Dawnbreaker is good for VP in that way. DM plays a lot of heroes that are like team fight, initiator kind of things, heroes that get active, and that's pretty common for a lot of offlane heroes, but I feel like it could definitely fit VP, because even if Dawnbreaker has some lackings, if you win the laning stage, and she has a pretty darn strong laning stage, despite it being slightly nerfed recently, then he can use that to become active on the in the game with good utility items. And one of the heroes that I always think about, he obviously has played lots of Mars. Mars has been nerfed a lot over time, but like his Kunkka offlane was pretty iconic in a lot of ways. He'd go like Spirit Vessel and Solar Crest or something like that, just items that like help his team win fights, and he plays a hero that can participate well in those engagements. So in terms of second phase bans, a lot of strength heroes being banned out for Undying, Lifestealer, Night Stalker, and Lycan, and they're going to go for a Mirana open immediately after. Great combo with Sand King. Sand King is going to be the guy that initiates, so that's the 3-4 most likely. And now the response.
Yeah, we speed drafting right now.
We are. They know what they want.
They know exactly what. We got the Bounty Hunter pickup, which is a little surprising. We've been seeing a little bit of an uptick recently. And then, of course, that Darkseer, because the Dawnbreaker, you know, we talked a lot about, you know, position 3s and whatnot, but I was wondering, you know, where exactly are they going to place that Dawnbreaker? So this kind of lets us know a bit more.
And we have seen a decent amount of Dawnbreaker 3 in pubs, but also a lot of 4. So it wasn't completely clear. I made it sound that way because I'm bad. But more likely, Darkseer is going to be the 3, Dawnbreaker's the 4, Bounty Hunter probably 5. But one thing they're kind of missing is disable stuff. They don't have the most reliable disables right now on the VP side. We'll see what their last pick ends up being. It'll be their carry. Usually you don't see a huge amount of disable coming from the carry. And over on the Undying side, they pick up Leshrac. I did see a decent amount of Leshrac.
That's a Brile specialty
and
right
pub
there,
games.
too.
Yeah, there's just it's a good hero on a lot of players, but it's another great combo actually with the Sand King. Leshracs are playing a little bit more mobile now. They go like Bloodstone builds, and then they go for like a mid game Blink Dagger, and then I've seen a lot of hexes afterwards. So they can be like Blink Hex, land a stun, and at that point, very likely Mirana arrows there to follow up, or it could be like Sand King Burrow Strike, Leshrac stun follow up. So when you have like multiple ways to start the team fight, it becomes a lot easier for you to make these engagements happen. Plus good damage output for Undying, and pretty good team fight. So obviously they've got Vacuum Wall over on the VP side, they've got the Dawnbreaker ulti, but Bounty Hunter usually lacks team fight a little bit. Storm can lack team fight. He's going to want to like jump the back line and kill Silencer ideally. But right now, I like the Undying draft quite a lot. We'll see how everything rounds out. But I think Undying's heroes just look a lot more like proven and tested, in my opinion. VP is going with something that they're confident with, but it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, I was taking a look at some of the pub strats that were coming out because, you know, you follow some of the different players as they're going about, and you can't obviously see their scrims. One of the things that I saw that Nightfall was playing quite a bit of was a lot of the heroes that have already been banned, right? The Monkey King, the Tiny, but also a good deal amount of, like, Sven, which we talked about, you know, having that disable. Not usually, you know, it's a common thing to see on your position 1, but that is, of course, an option. But like what I like right now when I look at Undying's draft is, yes, they have these disables, they have these ways of initiation, but also they have tower push right now. They have people that are going to be able to hit the building. And currently what we're looking at here over on the side of VP is that they're kind of lacking in that department currently.
Yeah, they really are lacking there. I mean, they've got Bounty Hunter tracking against Moran as well, so they'll be able to scout their opponents and keep track of them, potentially. But with the gyro ban, yeah, they need some like tanky frontliner carry that is going to be able to hit buildings if they do end up picking a Sven.
My homework, it paid off, dude.
So the coolest thing about VP, insane mobility. All 5 of these heroes have very good mobility. Sven, you could argue a little bit less, but he's got Warcry to benefit his whole team. So they've got Surge, they've got Bounty Hunter moving around, Invis, Stormsphere can jump, Dawnbreaker can move. If they get an advantage, what they basically want to do is they want to prevent Undying from like initiating with a stun, landing a second stun, third stun, maybe killing that guy. They want to like half engage on Undying, ideally disengage, maybe force staff the guy that gets stunned so the follow-up stun doesn't hit, and then that allows them to like jump back into the engagement after Global Silence is down. So they have to be careful how they poke these fights, and Bounty Hunter's a great hero for that because he's going to better be able to see where Undying is, and then they can choose where their fights go, ideally. Is what we'll see. But curious to see what items he buys on Bounty. I'm not quite sure what the perfect meta is, but he did get played a lot. I saw him being played a lot in pubs the last couple months, but it was like a variety of roles and game states that I would see it. So we'll see what they do with it.
Well, what's really interesting is because we can actually see the multi-stream over on the other end. Just very quickly, I took a glance. The amount of heroes, the diversity of them, they're all over the place. It's incredible. It's actually so exciting to see so many different heroes getting picked. Like, there's nothing that's dominating currently.
2 Morphlings, and other than that, it's all entirely different heroes.
This is a 5 Dawnbreaker.
5 Dawnbreaker instead.
Kingslayer's
Okay.
playing 5.
So Save's going to play Bounty Hunter. That makes a little bit more sense. Dawnbreaker, I would say, is maybe a little weaker as a 5, but it's not that bad because you can just rush the Locket, and Locket not that expensive, and Tomato's going to go for the Juggernaut for the carry. Yeah, pretty strong. It's very good against Darkseer is the big advantage that you can Healing Ward to stay alive. You can spin, kill creep waves as well. If there's a lot of Iron Shelled creeps, he has better safety against Bounty Hunter. The Bounty Darkseer dueling is more of a threat in a way because, especially against the Silencer, like because Silencer's a 5. That was one thing I noticed. Like you don't want to play Silencer 5 against a Bounty 4. That's a little scary. If Bounty gets Orb of Venom and he's got an Iron Shell and he's Invis, it's like if you try to mess around with pulls at all, like it's not difficult for them to catch you and get a kill on you. So you don't want to get too behind on Silencer because then it's going to make the mid game harder when Storm Spirit starts aiming for you. So whether or not Silencer gets killed a decent amount on the laning stage could really change things. The more levels Save gets, the faster he gets track, and that can snowball the game in a lot of big ways. So it'll be a cool game. Can't wait to see what happens.
I mean, let's be honest. This Silencer has a big ol' X painted on his back. There is a Bounty Hunter in this game, and there is a GPK Storm Spirit. So this guy has got to watch his back constantly. But, you know, this is it. We're going into game number 1. It's a best-of-2 series. I cannot wait to see how all of this unfolds. And
I just want you guys to know you picked the right stream because this is the first game of TI. Every other stream is behind us because they have slow, probably unintelligent drafters. But here we got the best teams and the best game to watch. I cannot wait to see.
You get the best observer too because I am observing the stream right now here. But like we said, you know, we've got some heroes that, especially Undying, are very, very comfortable with. We've got, of course, Bryle on that wreck quite a bit. I know Tomato likes playing the Jug. I think he's a bigger Morphling player, but I believe he was also banned out here. So a lot of these comfort picks. I'm expecting to see some Courier Snipes coming out from Savia and from Moon Meander as well. And yeah, we're already going to see a little bit of skirmishing over here because Save is on the trail. He's keeping some tabs over here on Bryle.
Helps to have the vision advantage. Yeah, they've got pretty good level 1 with Iron Shell. If they get like 2 of these out, it can be really good. But Tomato being the guy that they go on doesn't sound great. You get a little slow on him, but that's why he's playing low ground. Just trying to get information here and be pretty safe. Look how safe they're playing. It's very important at these moments to just not get caught by like the enemy team, especially if your level 1 is worse, and that's why they're playing so defensive. Like, yeah, they could land like a burrow strike into an arrow into like a Leshna.
Look at them, they want the silencer, I told you already. Dubu immediately getting jumped upon. They need one more hit to do the trick. GPK is going to be very happy with that. Tomato already committing now to the spin. Is going to try to dish out a little bit of damage, but blood has been drawn.
That wasn't bad. I mean, he did a little bit of spin damage, and obviously you killed the silencer, but the important thing is that it went to GPK. And it might seem like in games where like the enemy mid gets first blood, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but for pro players, it's huge. It really advances what they're trying to do in the match.
Look at just the amount of harass Save is able to put on Tomato now, too. That's actually so annoying, right?
Yeah, it is. Big movement speed for bounty hunters.
Moon Meander. Burrow Strike doesn't quite connect here. Kingslayer's chasing after him. Needed one more hit to finish off Moon Meander as he does go and use his salve. How do you feel about that?
I mean, he's forced. Like, he does not want to give up the kill, but it's the right thing to do is pressure.
But he's so low now, though.
It is tough, yeah, but...
Saber Light, this is just a dirty lane. When you have any sort of stun paired up with Dawnbreaker,
it is looking pretty good. And that's the best counter to Starbreaker. You just have to interrupt it all. And they do have 2 disables, but, you know, if Moon Meander dies there, they still put that pressure on Saberlight, and yeah, maybe he gets back to lane a little bit faster, but he needs to make sure that he can block the camp or do whatever else in the lane. So, and they are just pressuring him. They just come, run at him. He's forced to burrow strike defensively. He keeps getting these 2-man burrows, which is great, but he's barely evading death, and they do not have that much regen.
He managed to get the courier at the very least, but there it is. There's just another salve. It's going to get placed over on the Sand King, so this is a very scary lane. I mean, the nice thing that's going on for Undying is the fact they have the Burrow Strike, right? You do have, you know, Murano will eventually take the lead, so they'll be able to try to disengage, but until then, they have to play so carefully. Like, look at this again, another Stormhammer, swap down, and that's just a dead Moon Meander. You can't do anything here.
Absolutely nothing to do. And this is really bad for them as well. Saberlight is being a little bit greedy in his itemization. He's trying to get a fast Helm of the Dominator, most likely, because he's queuing up the Helm of Iron Will. And when you do this, you basically try to get it really fast, because once you get it, everything's going to be fine. But the first 2 minutes so far has been pretty rough for them. We've seen them take tons of damage. The regen that they bought at the start of the lane has not quite lasted, so as a result, he's going to get this item a bit later. And until then, Moon Meander, that's part of the reason this is going rough, because he's sacrificing to do this. So, and because they died, Kingslayer also gets a stack off on the small camp and blocks the large camp. So with time going on, things are going to look pretty good for him.
This is a very speedy Kingslayer as well when he does have those boots online, although doesn't have that mana, so he gets a little bit of a reprieval here for the side of Undying. Let's check in with the top lane, though. I saw that they are going for that, you know, the Ion Shell over on the Bounty Hunter, just trying to be as annoying as possible. That is going to make them go through a lot of regen as well.
It's doing pretty good. Level 1 Ion Shell is decent. Not necessarily the best, but it can do a lot. In the mid lane, GPK doing quite good. 17 last hits, 18 last hits almost. Up against Bryle's 12, so he's doing a little bit better there. So far, both of them have their bottle. Again, he does have first blood, so he got his item to move the bottle a little faster. He's going for the Soul Ring build, getting a little bit more popular on these end heroes here. Just there's not as many good mana regen items as there used to be, so now people are saying like, well, the next best is now Soul Ring, so that's why we're seeing it in the meta. Even though it kind of fell off for anybody that wasn't a strength hero.
They have a nice word over here placed. They're going to be able to identify that Moon Meander did start to move over a little bit. He suspects that there's ward drops. Sentry doesn't find anything, though. So.
And terrible thing. Saberlight is going to take a stun here.
Oh, he's not looking too healthy. They're going to try to get just a little bit more damage. The body block's coming out from Moon. Going to try to get a couple clicks off. Gets that leap, a little extra movement speed here. Kingslayer, though, look at this. He's like, yeah, you're going to come back here sometime, but you're going to walk right into me. And he's looking. I don't know. Oh, he does. He's definitely got Saberlight here.
He was almost able to get the...
Oh, is he going to get a double?
Oh my god, that was incredible. It was close to him not getting Sand King. Sand King tried to cut back the other way to get behind the third hit, but it barely caught him. And then also able to clean up Moon. What a big play.
Drag back here from GPK. The teleports are out. Are they going to be on time? He gets the stun off. They need a little bit more. No, they'll cake down Bryle. Now Moon Meander is here in the mid lane. Looks like he's going to try to go deny the water.
Yeah, but they're still going to have the other one, so this is really not that bad at all for VP. 5 kills now, 1k gold advantage. They are just feeling all over the map right now, and it's just a lot of kills going on.
a lot of pressure. And like we said, this is typical of their play style. When Virtus.pro start just getting that momentum, they're not going to let up at all. They're going to continue to be very, very aggressive. And you can see that, too, in what they drafted. The fact that you do have a double stun lane here on the bottom lane with the Sven and the Dawnbreaker. You've got, of course, you know, the Bounty Hunter and the Darkseer and then Storm. Like, GPK just, in general, a very aggressive player, just period.
Yeah. And Boots coming up for Saberlight now, so now when he gets gone on, he has a better ability to run away. So this will help a lot. I guess he's just going to sit on the Helm of Iron Wolf. I mean, it could be like a Crimson Guard or something, but I assume it's Helm of the Dominator based on this build, but we'll see. Sand King does need regen. Armor is great on him too. Here's the pressure.
Again, arrow does not connect. Turn around with Burrow Strike and see if they can put out enough damage. Maybe get some hits off over here onto Nightfall, but still, at the end of the day, Saberlight will fall, and Nightfall will be able to just walk away, get healed up by Kingslayer.
It looked almost good. Like, if those creeps were lower when that fight started, it would have been fine, because Saberlight was prepping 2 melee creeps, and those creeps die with Caustic. It does a lot of AoE damage. Nightfall did get low when it finally ended, but if those creeps needed to die just a moment earlier to buy them some time, make their opponents feel less confident fighting, but the timing didn't quite line up, and those are the small margins that you have to exploit as a top-level team to get wins in these lanes against other insanely good players.
Saving tabs on Corrales. Be careful, though. 6-minute runes are coming up. They're looking to make a play here. Corrales getting for the rune spot. Save. Waiting patiently, looking for the opening. A couple of hits off, but he needs to be careful because there was also a Moon Meander who's just going to Starstorm and wreck his face. Yeah, they have a sentry.
He just came over and he put the sentry down. He's like, you know, this guy's going to be an absolute jerk.
Nightfall's a little low, but return here. Kingslayer getting to position. Doesn't quite manage to land that stun. They do throw out. Oh, are they going to be able to? No, they're ending up taking that Kingslayer. And it's a little spooky here for Nightfall, who also now has to teleport away.
Really nicely done. Getting the burst right there while still close to Sandstorm. So he got to protect himself. And now the game is like kind of even, surprisingly. This is like one of those moments where you might be like, but if they got 6 kills, how the heck can they be close? And if you're just more efficient on the map, then it's all going to be fine. So sometimes that Moon Meander would step out of lane, arrow, creep, that kind of thing really makes a big difference. But most importantly, getting some kills when your opponents are beating you is going to offset a lot of this.
There's very little tower damage happening across the map too, which is pretty interesting as well.
And teams are just going to be very safe about protecting their buildings. And if you have hard to kill cores, it makes it easier to do so. Like pressuring top lane, kind of difficult against Jug, because usually you want to get the kill first, then take the tower. So if Jug is survivable, it's not easy. Sand King can push really hard, fairly safely, so pressuring his lane is going to be hard because it's hard to kill him in the first place. So want to dive mid, but Dudu's playing here, as is Leshrax, so
they're getting in position though, because they do have the they have level 7 over on Storm. Just have to be careful, doesn't have a whole lot of health here. But you can see too, save time to just keep tabs on everything going on. Poking a bit over at Tomato. He's trying to be a nuisance more than anything else.
Just thinking about Omni slashing here, but if you do, you can drop the wall, it'll create an illusion of Jug, split the damage a bit, it's not going to feel nearly as good, but Save does grab a little healing ward kill that's going to keep Juggernaut a bit low on HP briefly here. But they're certainly playing mid. They're looking for these kills if they can get them. They do find the Observer Ward though. They get the enemy sentry.
They got Nightfall's Courier though. Who's on that?
I don't know. They're thinking about Effie bottom.
Yeah, there it is. The arrow. No, it's just a little bit out of time here. As they'll turn right back around again over on Saberlight. Bryle is turning around though. Starstorm comes out. They need to be able to hold him into place, lock him down, and able to get this kill. And they don't quite have it.
It was hard. The Burrow Strike was used earlier, so landing and follow-up was basically not possible, unless he kept fighting and Lesh was able to get close, but I think Nightfall read that one. Their Observer Ward probably spotted his rotation. What's so funny?
I'm laughing because Doob was just hightailing it out of there. He knows Save is just creeping. You got Kingslayer on the Dawnbreaker here. They'll find themselves a Moon Meander, drag right back in again. It's a beautiful Burrow Strike though coming out from Saberlight. He's going to go for the Epi as well, so they'll be able to find a kill on Save, and it looks like they'll be able to find a kill on Kingslayer as well. Very nicely timed and placed by Saberlight on the Sand King.
Yeah, no kidding. Great rotation, and I'm surprised Murano was able to stay alive. He took a lot of heat there, but Raindrop, Magic Stick, and 2 leap charges able to get away. Helps also that Storm was a little bit low at the start of that. He wasn't as confident getting aggressive, but big fight there. That's going to keep the game even and definitely keep Undying in this game.
Now, is this a situation where now that the epicenter is down, though, they can potentially make a little bit more of an aggressive play from the side of VP?
I mean, potentially, but Epicenter's not like one of those abilities where you're like, God, if Epi's down, like, you can't do anything, because you still have a stun. He can still sandstorm push creep waves. Pushing creep waves alone affects the game a lot in the early stages, because most heroes are okay at pushing, but it costs resources and that kind of thing. So.
The play up to the top lane, though. Tomato, they drop the wall. He's going to try to spin, try to teleport away. I don't think they have quite enough damage. But he is going to survive the gank here.
Yeah, not terrible. Got him to go all the way back to base. He's going to have to rebuy TP. Almost had Echo Saber, but instead he's just going to finish his wand, get back on the map. So they're doing a good job invading. They're getting some D wards. So far, mostly sentries.
They found themselves a save, happened to wander right past them, so that is a dead bounty hunter. They're going to try to take these stacks that Dubu's been painstakingly working on here, but they're going to back off now.
Dubu is just so hyped that he doesn't have to stand between his mid-tier 1 and his mid-tier 2 anymore, because that was his life for legitimately like 6 minutes there. And now they can get aggressive themselves. Saberlight is very tanky. He's got a hood after his Helm of Iron Will. Kind of an interesting build so far. He bought Helm just for the lane regen and sustain here. But they're going to go on Sand King.
Jump in.
Oh, good silence.
Follow up, though. They're not going to be able to go and save him in time. Down will go GPK. And this tower is not looking too great either, although Nightfall is getting into position. Goes in for that God Strength. He's going to back off.
They want to stop this, but they can't. Bryle just pops his Diabolic Edict, and the tower's going to go down. No deny either, and now they Burrow Strike a bounty.
The jump again over onto save. He just... Oh, it's a double kill now for Moon Meander.
Undying is doing it.
And the tips go out.
1k gold advantage. They lost their safe lane tower, but their mid is still alive, and this is one of the big benefits of having a Leshrac, obviously. And with Sand King being so tanky, it's very difficult for VP to commit to some of these engagements here. And because Undying has the great chain stun, hey, that's what they got to do. They did have to pop global to set this up. They silenced the storm. They got the disable follow-up set up on him. He wasn't quite playing safe enough, but they're in a good spot now. I mean, going into the late game, their heroes still look pretty solid, so looking pretty great for Undying at the moment. Game's definitely not over, though. Lots going to happen.
I should hope that it's not over.
I mean, I could do with another 1.5 hour break. I don't know. Maybe not just yet. Later on.
Perhaps. You can see now that the side of VP, they're moving together. They're looking for any sort of pick-off. Save, of course, you know, is doing typical bounty hunter things, but they're very prepared for this because they've got sentries just lied out everywhere. Arrow connects over onto Save. He's just unlucky enough to eat that. They go for the dust, so they know that he's there. Just gonna back off. Realize that there's probably more going on. No one's really showing on the map,
Yeah.
except for perhaps Bryle here.
I mean, it's really hard to walk up high ground. They must have spotted him as he was going invis. That's why he went for that arrow, and then he confirms he's there. And when that happens, even if he doesn't die, he knows, like, oh, this is pretty hairy for me. Like, they saw I was coming somehow. Where was he exactly? I don't know, but, like, it just lowers your confidence and makes it harder to get the information that you're supposed to be getting. This is supposed to be his job, and he's supposed to hang out in this area and at least sap experience or something. But instead, he just runs bottom. He's going to build towards a mech, which is a great way to contribute. Some team fight that normally Bounty doesn't give much advantage towards, but on the other side of the map, Nightfall hitting creeps as expected. Everybody getting farmed more or less, and Storm and Nightfall are still in a good spot, but yeah, game's still up in the air.
Dota 2 is a fun and
and
balanced
also talking
game.
about just, you know, other advantages like vision-wise, right? Like you see that Moon Meander just got tracked over by the Bounty Hunter, and that's very useful when you look at everything else that they've kind of got going on over on the side of Undying. They don't have a lot in terms of the vision game.
It is pretty hard, yeah, with what they're working with. They just have some wards kind of like blocking the half of the map. And that kind of makes sense because Sven typically does farm faster than almost all carries in the game. He's naturally got cleave. He does not have to buy. Juggernaut's probably, he's got half of his Maelstrom finished here, so he will have some farming speed, but it just takes a little bit more time for Jug to come online, which is okay. But he's about 800 gold behind Sven. And that's going to keep going that way unless Undying starts convincing them in fights. And it could be even worse because they've got a Bounty Hunter on their team, so that means any team fights that Sven participates in, he's going to get even more gold than normal. They did pop Mirana ulti while Silencer was tracked, so this one was a bit of a miscommunication. That's like one of those things where they're like, oh, this is a good time to fight, but they didn't look across the map, check everyone for tracks. In the meantime, though, Bryle might get a solo kill at the bot room. It's going to be kind of close. Yep, and they pop global.
They pop global top lane. They're able to take down Save. They take down GPK. Undying is just starting to really amp up here.
That's amazing. They were able to get 2 kills with the same global. What value?
That's what all Dota players love, right? Is the efficiency.
Yeah, that's
and they weren't
really
even,
good stuff.
they're on the other side of the map, too.
Their positioning has been so good. Tomato basically on pressure at this point. Again, Sven is still farming quite well. Nightfall's happy with his game position, but he'd really love his allies to be sitting in a better spot, so they're going to start getting aggressive. This is the part of the game where Kingslayer starts feeling less effective. He doesn't have his Holy Locket yet. He's close, about 200 gold, but if they just get a bunch done right now, this would be great for Undying to get another pick off or two.
Placing down some of these sentry wards in advance because they think that perhaps Save's going to show up. Jump forward there from GPK. They're looking for this opening.
We missed Bro.
Go right back in again. Here comes the Dawn Mommy coming in over onto Saberlight here. We'll be able to go land the Starbreaker. Saberlight needs some help. Looking for this opening. Not going to be able to go in for the save though, as Nightfall will collect the kill.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Dubu, is he going to make it out time? Yes.
They missed the Burrow Strike on Saberlight, so there's no follow-up there. They thought they were going to be able to grab the Storm, get an arrow follow-up, but once that stun misses, it's pretty tough. So at least it was Sand King Dine and not Bryle on the left track. He's more important.
Radiant heroes over here.
They do have an Orchid. If they catch him, they can certainly kill him, but they have to have vision of him without him realizing he's being seen, and then they got him with the Orchid. They might go now. We'll see.
Moving forward, the jump forward again. Vortex, Starbreaker, and they need one more hit.
He's dead.
There he is.
They got the
They
Orchid,
have the Orchid on him. Elastic Orchid. Kingslayer is going to try to teleport away, but they do have a Yule, so he's not going to be lucky here. Followed up with the Split Earth, and they're just going to burn him.
He does not care. They got the big kill. They got the vision of Jug. They did the Orchid as they jump in. And as soon as Jug gets hit by Orchid, he's in a bad spot. So big kill. Really nicely done. We'll see if they get that ward that they placed de-warded later on. But for now, Save's going to continue invading if it gets a track.
Oh, Saberlight, the bottom lane.
Wow. I wish I caught that one.
Yeah.
That was a big kill. He didn't even epicenter. He just must have been low from the earlier fight.
He must have been. Like, all I saw was that the Burrow Strike was there, so
Yeah.
he just got a little too greedy, perhaps, or, you know, figured he would be safe on that side of the map.
Probably like
and
I'll
get
catch
dumped
this
on.
wave on the way home kind of a thing. And then Saberlight like followed and hunted him, knowing that he's like, oh, maybe I can get a clean up here. Like the creep wave is there anyway, so it's possible Saberlight was heading there no matter what, but also very likely he just outplanned him. A big kill to get a solo kill. That basically offsets that Jug kill in a lot of ways.
We do have a smoke play coming out now because the BKB is completed for Sven. This is his go time here. Currently sitting at the top of the net worth as well. So they're going to try to reclaim their jungle, and they're going to walk right into Dubu and Saberlight. The Global Silence comes out by a bit more times. They're trying to regroup over on the side of Team Undying. Nightfall's very, very far forward. Does have Save nearby as well. I'm not sure. They're chasing for quite a long time. Do have a couple of the tracks off. Find Dubu over to the side. Kingslayer starts putting out a little bit of damage. GPK jumping in over onto Dubu. Looks like they'll be able to take down the Silence with the follow-up here with Nightfall and Kingslayer. They'll be able to get the kill on Moon Meander, and they'll find the kill on Bryle as well as Saberlight trying to hide in the trees. They're not going to be able to cancel the TP in time.
I kind of feel like Undying baited themselves a little bit. Like it looked a little bit rough. The Global Silence was a bit, you'd say, wasted in the sense that like you had to use it for a defensive moment. That's not good. But it's better than losing the fight. And then they disengaged to the right, and then they're like, oh, well, we can stun Sven. And they're like, oh, then we can stun him again, and we can use Epicenter. But it's like, yeah, you did some good damage. You got him to 40%, but then you just BKBs, and then like the rest of the fight is like completely unfortunate. So it looked kind of good for Undying, but they probably should have just fully disengaged and re-engaged on a different hero. Ideally, somebody that's less tanky, doesn't have BKB, because they are pretty spell-based. They need spell damage to get kills, and Jug was not there, I don't believe. If they had like an Omni Slash on Sven in that moment, great. They maybe get that kill, but baited themselves, now they're 4K behind.
Again, this aggression, Bryle immediately getting pounced upon, but looks like Kingslayer wants to perhaps back out.
Oh, he dodges it with the Illusion Rune!
Very nicely done from GPK.
That was a good one.
Going back in now. Another track out the jump forward over onto Dubu. We talked about the Silencer looking like food for Storm. Save will be the one who collects the kills. The rest of Undying now running away. There's 4 over in this area. They just lost their Silencer, and this is so much more breathing room here for Mr. Nightfall on the Sven.
All these kills are a really big deal, because it's not just like getting some pick-off kills, it's that it's dumping money into bounty. He's got his mech finish, he's got another little piece coming, the buckler's on the way, and he's going to finish Greaves really quick. And because the Undying combos are so bursty, it's like the more heal you get. Stun on Sven top lane, like they're going to commit the Omni Slash as well. He's about half HP, used War Cry.
Turns around. He's going to be able to walk away from this. And they might re-engage because Save is here. Let's see, Saberlight. They're out to Janata. Rest of the team, though, regrouping over on the side of Undying.
that was pretty good for Undying. They did not, I mean, they used Omni Slash, of course, but that's also God Strength and BKB on Sven. And obviously, you can use God Strength to farm, so it's not the worst for VP, but I'd say, all things considered, it was okay for Undying. But yeah, the Warcry, very good against Omni Slash. 15 bonus armor there.
Forward again, they had the vision on Saber, like Kingslayer standing nearby as his DM split. Earth connects though. Mommy gonna try to save a life, cancels it out, so GBK ends up falling, loses some of that int. They use the epicenter as they go forward, but they're kind of split up though over on the side of Undying. One person chasing after the DM over on the side, they're chasing after Nightfall, and just because of that moment of indecision, it looks like they're not gonna be able to get a kill, but it seems like they want this Roche instead, knowing that Storm is down. Only for about 30 more seconds though, so they gotta make haste.
I gotta say, the Global Silence is feeling really good against Dawnbreaker. Like, even though she's getting her ulti off, all she's outputting is some heal here. And it still gives you a lot of time to guarantee this kill against Storm. If Storm has BKB, I'm not worried for VP, but the fact that Undying can win some fights right now is giving me a lot of hope. They are still behind, but hey, they're gonna have an Aegis here, another 1k gold from Roche dying. They just gotta keep getting these kills, keep getting advantage, and like eventually try to outlast the Sven if possible.
Alright, well that is going to be the first Roshan of the game. And Tomato will pick up the Aegis for himself. So I'm interested to see, are they going to continue to be very aggressive, or are they going to kind of just kick back a little bit? Because it looks like they're still working on some items here for Tomato.
I mean, they're still going to play the map, basically. Like, Tomato, obviously, he has some needs, right? Like, he wants to carry this game, but he also needs some Orchid solution, because otherwise he's 0-1 and 0 right now. He has tried to fight a couple times, but he's also hit a lot of creeps. He's been 12 kills. He hasn't been part of any of them. And his Omni Slash before was quite hopeful against the Sven, unfortunately. So, with that in mind, he has, he's got to get the Manta, and even when he gets that, it's not going to make him good against him. He feels a little countered this game, I gotta say. Maybe his itemization is a bit weird. Maybe he shouldn't have gone Echo. Maybe he should have gone, like, Maelstrom Manta or something. But, yeah, do your best, I guess. They're going to go try to maybe kill the Bounty Hunter here, but he's sticking around a bit.
He says, I mean, there's no one showing on this map right now. You don't have anyone showing on the side of it. Now he knows, exactly. He's like, yep, nope, not going to show.
Does retrack, revealing that he's in the general area, but finding him exactly is a bit tough here. Leshrac queuing up for his Bloodstone now, just went for the Hood and the Yules to buy time. Bloodstone's going to secure basically mana regen for the rest of the game. And a lot of spell lifesteal too.
Another smoke play here. They're hoping for a pick-off so that way they could take some sort of objective. They definitely want to take it when they're just not on their side of the map, right? Like, that's the whole deal. But look at this. DM's got like a spider sense or something. He realizes they're not showing, we don't know where they are, and everyone's just vacating this triangle.
They know what was happening. Oh, they're going to catch him.
They do manage to go and find themselves that, but he's got the BKB. He's going to just teleport out.
It's very close. The distance was, it's like one of those moments where you're invading, you see him, you got to burrow strike when you see him because he's going to see you. And the arrow got there just a fraction of a second too late. BKB gets popped, and that is why that worked out. I mean, VP had a lot of information there. I don't know if you saw it, but on the map, Kingslayer was standing on that high ground spot to the right of Roshan.
Yeah.
He was trying to break a smoke that came. So when nothing came and nothing was showing, they were like, uh-oh. They're not going here, they're going to our tri-camp instead, and that's why they started escaping to try to get out. But either way, they got the BKB popped, so that's going to be another window where VP doesn't feel comfortable fighting it, and that's why Undying now is pressuring the top tier 1, and they're going to be able to secure this. Not always the best tower to kill, but for Radiant side, it's still valuable. It's closest to Roshan, so not bad for them. They take the tri-camp, that's going to force VP to play the other side of the map, but the game continues about even.
I mean, that was what I was about to say too, was the fact, yes, it is near the Roche pit, but also, you have a Sven. You have a Sven who wants to take stacks, he wants to stay in his triangle for the most part. So if you can gain control of this area, I think it's very, very worth it, especially at this point in the game.
But now VP's going to try to defend their tier 2. If they can. GPK's got BKB, Orchid, Iron Shell on him too, he goes in.
Jump in, they drop the wall over onto Tomato here. Silenced up, needs a little bit more damage. They'll pop the Aegis. Okay, there it is, the global silence coming out.
Hit an illusion.
Backing out here.
They gotta leave for sure.
They don't want to take this. They don't even have the Sven either. They leap forward again, over onto Saber, lights the Guardian. They drag back, right hand again. Can they finish off the Sand King is the question. One more hit should do the trick, and GPK will find a kill.
Man, it just feels so hard for Undying to stand up to these counter initiations. Basically, the Orchid, this isn't like a freak incident. Orchid's very common for your mid players to have, and it's a Storm. He's gonna buy Orchid, but it just feels like it is like the hard counter to their lineup. Undying doesn't have a lot of save things. They've got Global Silence, obviously, but like if somebody gets Orchided and a couple spells are casted, he's getting killed. That was his Aegis, and that was like not a crazy initiation. It was just like he jumped in and there was a little follow-up. So not having the Manta here, like literally just completely stops their push and costed them an Aegis and a global silence, and they still lost Sand King too. So it's like, it's pretty costly when they get a little advantage. That Orchid just keeps pulling them back and giving VP a go-ahead, like a way to catch up or get more advantage of this. He's got the money now though. We'll see if his courier gets sniped. Okay, it's gonna be okay. All right, Manta's finished now. Now he's got some solution against Orchid.
Bottom lane, save, getting jumped on by Bryle and Saberlight. Even goes, pops those Greaves, but just not going to be enough. They're going to be able to purge off the trap and just immediately move their way to another lane.
He'll show on the wave anyway, so it's not necessarily about vision in this case, but yeah. Normally, like, getting away from letting them know what moves you're making is super, super important. Even the fact that, like, he delayed letting them know where he was for 5 seconds, you know, that can be helpful. Otherwise, you see, like, oh, he's clearly TPing, blah, blah, blah. That'll influence your decision. So I think now that they've got Manta and Juggernaut, things are going to be easier. He's not the only guy that's a little countered by Orchid still. Saberlight's got to be a bit careful. They need a solution. Glimmer doesn't really work because their opponents have a Bounty Hunter. So as long as Bounty's there to track, you're always going to see the guy. So Force Staffs are really useful. Dubu's trying to farm that by standing around. Oh, he's got the Philosopher's Stone, though, the perfect item for this circumstance. And he's almost got the money for Force. He's saving buyback right now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him buy out with this Force Staff. It easily could save himself or an ally. But for now, play near the stunners. That's going to be Leshrac or Sand King. Those are the guys they need to play near. And Sand King's almost got his Lotus Orb finished as well. Another great way to move silence. So Undying's finally getting to the period where they don't have to worry as much about the nasty things that VP are throwing.
Now 26 minutes in, we have a 6K net worth lead currently for VP. And they're also very tightly moving across the map. They go for another smoke play. Looks like they're going to try to go over into this triangle area. We'll probably send Save a little bit ahead, try to get some of that information. But yeah, look at this Moonlight Shadow. They're on the low ground.
They got the vision, but they don't have a sentry down, so they don't actually see anything right now. VP did not spot Undying on the other side.
Look at this.
Undying didn't spot anything either.
Surged up. They're looking for the opening. They are in the high ground, though, over on the side of Undying. This could be very, very good for them. GPK trying to find this opening. You see the Mirana. There's a lot of hesitation going on, though.
I mean, both teams did not discover each other for a long period there, and I would say this is maybe a mistake on the VP side. If they had a sentry near this observer ward, they would have spotted Undying, and they would have initiated, probably crushed that fight, honestly. But because they didn't have a sentry near that cliff spot where they had that great ward, the fact that Undying happened to be Moonlight Shadow at the same time means that they just don't get initiation opportunity. And then both teams get spooked, because eventually they realize, like, oh, my smoke broke, your smoke broke, we can kind of see you, we kind of know where you are. But, like, if you don't have the vision, it's way too dangerous to run uphill to initiate. They try to catch GPK here, but...
Too fast to fingers. He looks like he wants to get himself a little kill on the way out, though. They have Moon Meander. They've got not quite enough damage here. So, we'll force GPK back. Saberlight going with the dust does manage to see Save, but looks like they don't want to hard commit to this fight just at this time.
Yeah, they're able to keep Moon Meander alive. Those Yule Scepters to be able to use defensively, just so important. And they do finish the Force Staff on Silencer as well, so... VP still playing in the same general area. Storm's got a gem now too. This is a big advantage.
Big. Sitting up on the eye spot, looking for the jump in with the BKB pulling down over onto Saberlight. They want to take him out, but again, they have that beautiful wall vacuum combo coming out on top of that. Burrow strike forward, gonna try to dodge the Stormhammer. They do have that healing ward down as well. They pushed back, and it's a lot of everything for nothing at this time. Still looking for the opening. The zip forward again from GPK. He wants to get this kill. He wants to try to grab Saberlight. Ends up grabbing Bryle, but they do manage to finally take down Saberlight. They'll take down Bryle. Nightfall now, of course, with the God Strength, with that BKB, chasing after Tomato here. Gonna try to go for the play with the Omni Slash. They're just going to go for the full-on Delta Hug. This is not looking good now for Tomato.
Oh, he dodged.
Just managed to go for the dodge, but they pull him right back in again. It's beautiful. It's a triple kill now for Nightfall. Tomato spinning the one, trying to get back to his home, trying to get back to his head. He cannot do it. It is an ultra kill.
Man, the target priority for VP was so good there. They recognize that, well, I've talked so much about Yule Scepters and who's got defensive items. The one guy that still doesn't have anything, it's Saberlight. He bought Boots of Travel after his plate mail to get around the map faster, to split push more, but then he just doesn't have an Orchid solution, and this, like, one item just continues to punish them. It's a really, really big deal here. That replay once again, getting that kill on Saberlight. The second Orchid ended up providing the solution there. Dubu tries to run to the side or help a little bit, but man, everybody just... You want to save him, he dodges the first stun and he gets the Force Staff away, but then that vacuum forces them to be committed. And, after that, it's just working them down. 14k advantage.
Okay, nice land here with the arrow. They need to do more than this, though, because Ben, okay, right into the split earth, a bit unplanned here, but they have the BKBs dragging back again over onto Saberlight, trying to just get rid of this pesky sand cake. Looks like they're not going to be able to quite manage to finish off Moon Meander, though.
He gets 2 kills.
Two of them.
Oh my god.
It feels good to be this good. It feels good to be this good.
Honestly very good timing there for Save. He absolutely deserves to gloat about getting 2 kills like that when he was completely by himself. It really was, yeah. Half track bonus now is what he's picked up, so he gives his allies 10% movement speed being near track targets. So, man, VP's just doing. Remember what I said in like the draft? It's like, oh, Undying's got to be the one to poke and prod. Man, VP has been doing it so well here.
I mean, they have the perfect poke and prod heroes as they zip in. They found Dubu. They say, yeah, there's not going to be any space for you in this fight. See you later. Tomato now dragged back with the silence. Solar Guardian coming in hot. They don't even finish it off because they have the global silence. Now Bryle running for his life. I'm surprised that, you know, VP, they like to go chasing after people in the bases. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for that dive, but you know, they're calm, they're collected. They have a Roshan to kill.
I guess so. I mean, Global's been doing great at interrupting the Solar Guardian ulti. It makes it a little bit harder for VP to execute their fights, but it just feels like the Orchid usage from GPK has just opened up so many engagements. It shut down Undying's top tier 2 push. It gave them 2 openings against the Sand King eventually because he still hasn't finished his Lotus Orb, but that's understandable because like the game's been very busy for him the last 5 minutes. He hasn't had time to slow down and farm, but Save in a perfect position, going to spot Undying heading to lanes. They need to keep an eye on Saberlight. They know he's going to hit creeps. This is where he's headed. He doesn't necessarily need to be there.
Look at this, GPK, he's already arrived. He has very little mana, and this will go, use the Moonlight Shadow to try to protect him, but they have this vision, they have the track on him, and then that's just a dead Saberlight. Does have buyback available. They decide to continue pushing very hardcore, but this is a huge issue. He needs these items.
He does it, but Sage completely reading him there. He knows that he needs to go hit the creeps. That's the safest place on the map to farm. He gets all set up, gets the vision. GPK gets to make the decision to jump, and plenty of damage to get the kill. It's unlikely that he's going to get ganked there, so Undying didn't even have heroes in the area to necessarily protect him. But this has been the way that Undying has lost this game so far is they needed defensive items against this Orchid, but they just have been, VP found the fights basically to make it hard. Just punish him.
Moon Meander getting a little cheeky. Has to be very, very careful. The rest of the team is very close by, and again, GPK is the one who has the Aegis. He's going to try to be a bit cheeky again. He is a Mirana, but when you get tugged, oh my god, you can't go over that area. VP owned that area. How dare you?
Yeah, stayed a little long.
Step foot there.
I don't think sticking around to land the, like, you know, 300 damage on Storm was very valuable in that circumstance, unless maybe he's trying to bait something out, like a half initiation that goes well. But once again, their save items are not the most incredible.
They found save, though. The follow-up immediately, though, from Nightfall. He can't land that stun just yet. Spin, so force out that Guardian Greaves.
Full Satanic on
Spin.
Sven. Good stuns.
Oh my god. That's right. Zip in from GPK, just right into the back lines here, trying to just take out Tomato as fast as possible. That silence, though, coming into play yet again. As Saberlight getting chased so far back here. Looks like they're going to behave, though. They'll back off. Nightfall. You get the stun. Follow up again over onto the Storm Sphere. GPK, he's going to go down the first time.
All right,
the rest of the team, though, they're just getting into this position here. The follow-up, and they do it. They follow up. A beautiful vortex right into everyone as they just zip back and forth. That's a kill. Tomato is dead. Saberlight's going to have to fight back. Nightfall looking for this opening again. Bryle chasing him down. The burrow coming out from Saberlight. They go right back around yet again. GPK is just poking and prodding. We talked about this. He's doing so much work here, but they finally have his number. Tomato sitting so very, very low. Because he was just playing back and forth, and this is not looking particularly great here for Save, as he's been like trying to track Saberlight the entire time. They don't have any detection though, so he is going to survive it this time around.
Looked like the game was about to end to me. I mean, that Orchid when Storm respawned was perfect. He catches the Sand King right before he burrow strikes. So it would have been like a full epi burrow that hits him, but instead it just bought more time to continue fighting. But
Tomato? Oh dear. Tomato, he's trapped, he is stunned. He's gonna have to spin away. Looks like VP, they don't want a hard commit on this. Save again, forcing staff forward here. Saberlight trying to find the opening. They back off. Immediately smoke right back in again.
They are tracked though.
Right
so
on top.
No.
Both of them though. Both of them went in for that smoke. Saberlight turns around. They see Kingslayer. Nice arrow coming through, followed up with all the stuns, all the star storms. All right, that's going to be a dead Kingslayer, and I believe that means they pick up a gem on top of this.
Hey, right thing to do. Even if they know that you guys are smoked, you got to get these kills. Storm's dead, and now Bounty's or Dawnbreaker is dead too, and maybe Sven as well. Can they get him?
He's got to get out of there very,
No
very
detection,
quickly.
probably.
Here, turns back around, gets a decent hit off over onto Saberlight. They do find DM though. It's not looking great from the Stormhammer coming through, but they follow with a beautiful Burrow Strike. That's going to be able to buy just enough time. Turning back around, look at that cleave damage though. The buyback coming out now as well. Tomato running for his life. They want this kill. They'll take down Tomato. He's got no buyback. Moon Meander tracked up here is just trying to just run out. And the rest of the team though, look at this Undying. They're going to have to teleport away. They want this kill on Moon Meander so bad. It's a double kill now for Nightfall. You cannot run and escape them.
Sven without ulti, not so scared, but when his ulti's on, man, that got terrifying quick. You got to be careful. Like if you commit on this guy and he does have BKB and his ulti, you have to be absolutely careful. But his raw HP is so high as well that like their single target damage just isn't being felt much. The Jug's net worth is okay in the game context, but compared to Sven, it's like not even close to the same. So they just don't have that much single target damage if Jug's not having a good game, and that's where we're at. Like you got Omni Slash, but past that, he just doesn't do that much damage.
I mean, you got to give credit here. Saberlight is landing some very nice Burrow Strikes. They're just like mini Ravages, but when you see GBK zip in, get the Vortex the way he does, and look at this, immediately jumping, and they want to get rid of Saberlight. They might be able to get rid of Brile, too, at the same time. They're both down. There is no buyback. Over on the side of Team Undying, you do have Moon Meander, who's going to be respawning very shortly. You have Dubu, but they're just food at this point.
They are. 3-second AoE stun from the Storm, very effective. Gives them 2 vacuums this game to combo with some of their AoE stuff, whether Sven or Storm himself. But the push continues. 30k gold advantage, almost certainly VP is going to close this one out here in 36 minutes. There were some times where it looked a little bit rough, where Undying had some good fights, but just some small issues. It felt like Jug didn't really ever get in the game too much. They had issues with the Orchid that felt a little bit oversized due to the way VP was playing very well. So the upper hand goes to VP, and the track gold kind of clinches things with these fights going one-sided. So VP can get their second racks of the game, and the game will continue, but doesn't get much better against Bounty track. So that's a big problem as the game goes on.
Of course, that second rack's down. Undying, trying to find an opening here. They see Tomato immediately. He spins out, though.
Can't even kill a damn creep wave in his own base.
Moon Meander thinking about setting up with this arrow, but of course there are
Just
creeps
remember.
blocking this path. They can't go for that other rack just yet. They do have to handle this one tower here, which DM is on his way. He's working on it.
They got lots of time for now. There's no reason to push it. Just wait, go buy your items. They just won a bunch of fights. Go purchase the things you need, and then look for a pick-off. And then from there, you can close the game out. So lots of safety they can do for now. Pick up their new neutral items, get some good vision control. Right now, Undying does have some wards on the map. It's not completely hopeless for them, but they pop a smoke. They're going to try to look for a pick-off here.
It feels like they have to because they're being choked in their base. If you just sit there, you're not going to get anything done. There's no hope. You have to make kind of a risky play at this point.
Yeah, they kind of do, for sure. Yeah, if they sit in their base, there's no way they win. No. Not against this Sven.
But, I mean, they're playing. Look at this. They're playing so tightly over on the side of VP. And in fact, they go for their own smoke. So it's going to be smoke on smoke action. Only one that's showing currently is, of course, Brile.
I like this. Wards on high ground for VP.
Double Damager is available bottle where it looks like Tomato should be able to pick that up. But they have to be so careful about their movements around the map. One more bad fight could just be the end of Undying.
Yeah, almost for sure. Their buybacks they're not gonna have a lot of money right now, and if they save it for buyback, it's like their chance of winning the fights are low anyways. So yeah, they're looking for an engagement. Very wisely, VP playing near their cliff ward spots with sentries. That way they can spot if their opponents get nearby. And now they're just gonna hit buildings because they know that on the map Undying's looking for a pick off. And look at that, he just only hits the tower like 6 times or something, but that's all they need. They just need to poke it here and there. Sometimes don't run into the stun, but didn't know that was coming.
Brile's got to be so careful in his positioning. It's like you said, they don't have any good ways of saving. In fact, they jump in immediately over onto Brile, and they just absolutely obliterate him. It's a double kill now coming out for Nightfall. Turn their attention over to the base, turn around, they see Saberlight, they say, yes, thank you, I will take that too. GPK gets the kill, they go right into the base. They just call the GG. There's just nothing that Undying can do at this point. They put up one heck of a fight early on, but again, once VP, they get into that into that groove.
They did. I mean, they VP did better in the laning stage. They got more kills. I would say they definitely overperformed in the safe lane against the Mirana and the Sanking. Just those like small little mistakes about losing a lot of regen early. Moon Meander popping a salve to stay alive longer. They constantly pressured. They constantly pressured the Mirana, or sorry, the Sanking afterwards. And then, though Undying did catch up a bit, there was just a couple like skirmish moments where Undying just overstepped a little bit. And against like some of the best teams in the world, you cannot make those mistakes.
No, you absolutely can't. And you know, this is another thing we talked about. You know, if we take a look over here at the scoreboard, you know, you can see, like, Nightfall had a perfect game here. Perfect. 13-0 and 13. Like, this guy was just allowed to hit creeps. They made enough space. And Undying, they did a lot of really, you know, they had some very nice plays early on, but it just, they felt like they couldn't keep up.
Yeah, they couldn't quite keep up. They were getting some kills, but not quite enough. And then they had this like long, like 10-minute period of the game where Tomato needed a Manta, and somebody else needed a. It's like every hero had to buy one defensive item to protect against Orchid, but in reality, what they really needed was one defensive item that they could use on whoever got gone on. That's really what you need. It's more resource effective, right? But Glimmer doesn't work very well because they probably have a bounty hunter. So like they needed an item. It's like they needed a fast Lotus Orb, and I can't help but look at Sanking and Saberlight to say, like, he had that Helm of Iron Will that he never upgraded. He bought a Hood, then he bought a Blink, then he bought Boots of Travel with Soul Ring, and then he bought a Plate Mail. And it's like, one of those needed to be a way to, like, if you just got a faster Lotus, maybe, then you could be the guy every time that removes the Orchid, and then they don't have that, like, 10-minute period where they lose their timing. So that, like, hurt them a lot. And they still tried to win later, obviously, but it's like they missed their timing without a doubt, even though they were a little bit behind, but yeah, that mid-game period was really where VP just like completely ran away with the show.
But it is, of course, you know, the first day of groups, first day of TI-10, so, you know, you're going to have different teams trying different things, and they're going to learn, I think, very, very quickly on their feet. So, of course, this is a best of 2 series, so this is only game number 1. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have game number 2. Back here sometime, buddy, you're going to walk right into... Back here sometime, buddy, you're going to walk right into me, and he's looking. No, oh, he does. He's... All right, welcome back, everyone. This is the International 10. This is Group Stream C, I believe, and I think we're number 4
Yeah,
in
don't
terms
tell
on
them
push.
about C. That's just going to
Sorry.
confuse people. We're
Anyways,
stream number 4.
Welcome back, everyone. We're very excited. We've got game number 2, of course, between Virtus.pro and Undying. And Virtus.pro showed a lot of dominance in that first game. It's time for Undying to see if they can bounce back again.
I think they can. They started off at a 5-0 deficit on the Undying side. Then they got some big pickoffs. They had some signs of strength, but they weren't maybe as crisp as they needed to be to be able to pull out a win. And the fact that their opponents were also playing with a bounty hunter makes things harder, because then it's like if you make mistakes, they're amplified in a much bigger way. And they did a great job shutting it down for like, the 10-minute to 20-minute period. But then all the times they tried to be aggressive on the map were just so countered by that one Orchid that was used so expertly by GPK. So let's see how things change up. Dawnbreaker banned in the first phase, and that's going to be a Monkey King pick to start things off for Team Undying as a result. Also an Elder Titan ban in the first phase. So what are we missing that was in the last phase? I should take notes. That would be very smart to do.
10 seconds remain.
Monkey King picked by Undying. VP is going to respond with an Earthshaker and a Pugna, actually. Interesting. Is this a like I want to use Pugna against Monkey King thing, or is this a prep strat for VP? I'm kind of curious. What do you think, Moxie? Earthshaker and Pugna?
I'm not 100% sure. I think, it gives them some of that push potential that they'd like.
5 seconds.
But yeah, there are definitely some options there. Sorry, I'm having a little moment here.
It's a little loud in my ears, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little loud.
Just communicating that. But, it's interesting, definitely. We talked about earlier how we have a lot of these heroes that are really showing up very strongly in the pubs. Especially,
it's a loud wolf.
Very loud wolf.
Is he in the room? I think Lycan is here, actually.
I think he's behind us at this point. But yeah, no, the Monkey King, slipping through the draft this time around, of course. The Earthshaker's been popular. Not so much that Pugna, but, it does provide a role, especially if Bryle loves that Leshrek. And picking up the Pugna is a very good deterrent if he decides he would like to try that again.
But I could certainly see Pugna support. It's not necessarily amazing. It has at various times been popular in various metas, but I could see it be thrown into a weird situation. Kind of depends where the Monkey King plays. If you are, you could certainly play Pugna 3 potentially against like a Monkey King 1. That wouldn't be too terrible, because if he tries to build up Jingu stacks, you just get in the decrep and you walk away. But wherever Monkey King is, I think it would be fine to have Pugna there, frankly. Lycan against Pugna would be a good time for Undying, most likely. The Wolves have a lot of magic resistance, so Pugna would not be able to clear those well. But again, there's still so much that can happen in terms of draft.
Yeah, the other thing too, like with the Pugna, typically I've seen it really run in that mid lane. I thought that was going to be GPK who's probably playing it, but you can move it to whatever lane depending on what's necessary. Like you said with the Monkey King, making sure that they don't have the stacks Jingu, and then I've also seen it run by supports in terms of being able to be that little battery, right? So you stick on the outside of the fights and you just try to keep everyone alive. So a lot of possibilities with this particular pickup, but it looks like this time around Undying, they like the idea of being able to run at them, take these towers. The thing I'm a little concerned about is you're running at them, and then, how do you hold them in place, when you have that Monkey King too?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult at times to lock them down, despite having a Monkey King. But yeah, there's still lots to go in terms of the draft, so we'll see how this ends up finishing up. Spectre is going to end up getting banned, kind of interesting. Pugna is a little bit weak to diving, so, and I would say Earthshaker kind of is too, so this kind of makes sense to see this banned. It would be problematic to deal with. So,
but how concerned are you about counter initiation in this case? Because yes, you're running at them, but you also have to be hyper aware that you're not all running in at once, especially when you have a zoo, right, with a Lycan, when you have all of these creeps, because that's just giving more fuel and ammo to Earthshaker.
You do have to be worried about them running at you. Counter initiation is good, but Earthshaker and Pugna kind of provide that. It's like whoever gets gone on, you give them the decrep. Right now they're all physical damage, so obviously Lycan could control some Dispel type creep hero, but I don't think they're too concerned. Earthshaker's a great counter initiator. All it takes is fissure sometimes to reset things and buy your team a second to reposition. Phoenix can work as well. Drop the egg if they're fully committed. Sunray, whoever gets gone on, but most importantly, I think VP's lineup is just safe right now, because you just don't really know what's going on with it just yet. The most likely thing is Phoenix Earthshaker support, obviously, but could be Earthshaker core. Always a possibility. And another diving hero for Undying, 3 in a row now. Monkey King, Lycan, and Storm Spirit. They've got a great way to get aggressive. Let's see. Next pick for Undying is going to be the Bane now. So this is a little bit of lockdown that they were kind of lacking a bit. Single target disable is going to be great. Enfeeble, the first skill, excellent against any heals. So between Sunray and Pugna, that could actually shut things down a lot to really limit the amount of save the VP gets naturally from their heal skills.
Yeah, it's got a lot of potential to be able to try to heal, save, whatnot. But like you said, with having that Bane pick, but Bane seems to be very, very popular. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen him picked up more. Or
we have watched a lot of games at TI so far. That's true.
No, but like even before that though, like you saw him popping up in a lot of pubs. It felt so. I'm a bit surprised. But okay, with the puck pickup, that's most likely, if I had to guess, going to be GPK. So I think that the Pugna is going to get shifted into the support position. I'm more than certain that it's going to be DM on the Earthshaker.
Yeah, and Puck is a hero that was godly 6 to 8 months ago. Has been getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. Witchblade is better slow right now. It lasts for longer, but it does the same damage. So arguably a worse item to getting pickoffs. But Puck has very obvious advantages against mobility heroes. Like, great hero. Dream Coil is perfect. Stops Storm from getting out of trouble, basically, for a while. Gives Lycan punishment, gives Monkey King punishment. So no matter who the core is, Puck's going to be happy with the matchups that he's looking at.
So does this now also shift this Monkey King in the position for what we have just available coming out for the data for Undying? Because obviously, Brow's going to be on a Storm Spirit. Do we shift then? Is Tomato going to be playing the Lycan? And are we going to see, the Monkey King like 4 or 5?
Not necessarily yet, because Bane's obviously support. Lycan offlane is not that uncommon as well. So
is that typically paired up with the Bane, though?
Like Lycan plus Bane? No, Bane's almost always safe lane because it's pretty much a 5 hero.
Right.
If it was offlane Lycan, Lycan basically just like gets farm and doesn't really kill in lane. So you could basically do some 4 that like is gonna lane stabilize, mess up pulling. So I think like lane wise they're not too concerned. Like Bane will lane stabilize just about anybody, pair some with Lycan that's gonna give Lycan an okay like first couple minutes until he can get some armor, and then he's basically like really difficult to kill. So everything will be fine after that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see because like nothing on this page right now really screams Moon Meander's hero to me. He's played, again, we talk about Earthshaker being extremely flexible, but Shaker's already clearly picked up. The IO was banned. Monkey King's picked up already. They took the Pugna. I mean, there's the Weaver possibility, too, but Weaver was, of course, banned now, too. I'm just realizing it. So I'm not sure what the play is. I mean, you could opt for something, you have the old combo of the Mirana Bane sort of deal. We know that Moon likes playing that, but I feel like that's not going to be enough for what they need.
Yeah, Mirana Bane's kind of bad right now anyways, because if you are slept, you can always press BKB while the arrow hits you.
True.
It's like one skill interaction that's like really not that good, actually, unfortunately.
They think that they're going for their position 1 here. They think the Monkey King's most likely a support.
A support. I think that's most likely. Like almost every monkey I saw, it wasn't like every monkey, but I saw a lot of support monkeys. It's kind of
such a crazy sentence you just said.
it's I don't remember what I said.
All the monkeys. You're just like, every time I see a monkey, and then a monkey. There's just like so many monkeys.
A lot of monkeys, yeah.
We're talking about monkeys, guys.
It's like a semi-new core played as a support is how I would describe it. So it's been a while since support monkey was a thing. It's like years at this point. So there's a lot of players that were like, okay, well I need to get good at this at least a little bit. That way, if it is the hero of the meta, that they're ready to adapt quickly. So, yep, Lifestealer is going to be their carry. They were pretty sure about that being not their carry. So Lifestealer against Pugna is pretty decent because Lifestealer doesn't have to worry about getting decrypt himself. He can rage to get out of Puck stuff. Obviously, you get silence is a bit of a problem, but you can protect yourself against Earthshaker too. Phoenix, Egg as well. You just rage and slap, kill that, have yourself a little omelet or something. Looks good. There's lots of infest targets on your allies to help them dive or to go with them. It looks like a pretty good pick for Undying. I like it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of physical damage, honestly, coming out from the side of what VP has currently. So I'm almost curious. I'm trying to look at what they have here, and that's something that's going to provide a lot of physical damage, but also play very tempo.
Yeah.
That is the big question right now.
I think PA is kind of a bad hero right now, but it kind of feels like it's good here. It's like a lot of single target damage. It's got built-in evasion, which is pretty decent against like like in Monkey Lifestealer. The downside is that Grip is pretty much always good against it, and you're not really that useful against Storm until you get like your third item, which is maybe a Basher ideally. But I'm not really sure what they're gonna what the perfect pick is here. They will go for a Bristleback. Very interesting.
That's very aggressive as well.
Not the most standard carry, and a lot of players basically just kind of gave up on Bristle for a long time. But this kind of throws them in a cool place, because for run at you lineups, that usually provides a situation where it's like, if your team isn't like positioned well, you just have to all run at the same time. But a Bristle is different, because you just turn your back and you're like, I'm made for this. I'm made to be dived. And while you're being dived, you're still doing damage. And because he's the carry, but he's a Bristle, it's like you don't have to have, like, your laning stage is going to be fine, because most offlaners have like decent laning stage compared to a carry. So it's like his net worth is going to be like relatively high. His levels are going to be pretty good. He's okay being ran at. He does a huge amount of physical damage. If you build that way, maybe he's not going to probably go AoE lifesteal. He's going to go like Treads or Phase, and he's going to go like SNY, maybe a Vanguard. I don't even think he really needs a hood this game. The only magic damage is from Storm Spirit, basically. So it's like, if you don't have to buy a hood on Bristle, you're already happier. So it's like he's going to be able to buy like AC, SNY, Treads, probably get Ags. It's been nerfed a bit, so maybe we'll see a different item build. I think this is a really smart choice that solves those like single target damage problems, makes him like semi-survivable against Lifestealer, and gives him, he can be the ultra tanky single target frontline that they needed to like let their other allies play around him.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this draft coming out from VP. It really feels like they know exactly what they need to do. And, you know, we always talk about how simplicity and just having the pieces fit together easily is always a huge benefit in Dota. And it's very clear what their game plan is. Whereas I feel like Undying, you know, yeah, they've got some very meta picks, but also, like, I feel it's a little bit more difficult for them to kind of put all these pieces together.
Yeah, it can be. Run at your opponents and make better choices than them, I think, is Undying's game plan here. And if they can make that work, it can work. Because if a Bristle gets behind in net worth or team fights, he starts to feel pretty weak. Like, if they can get advantage and pick up their Nullifier or whatever else, or some Silver Edge, if there's a lot of potential Silver Edge carriers, then that could be huge too.
It feels good to be this good. It feels
I'm glad
good
that they
to be
are
this good.
enjoying these caster voice line packs.
So if you bought that PPD voice line, you just clearly have an ego. Is that how it works? You're like, oh, I can't wait to use this, you know? Like I would be embarrassed using that unless
Really?
I only use it if I'm like bad or something.
I guess. But I mean, that's also saying like, because Lyrical's voice line as well is like, I am so good at this game.
Oh,
like,
that's
you
true.
know,
That one's
I
different,
think that's
though.
very wholesome sounding.
But the way
personally.
PPD said it was very like, I'm so good.
Yeah, but can you imagine Peter saying it any other way though?
Yeah, of
Really?
course not. I mean, it's certainly on brand. I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just,
Man has a strong brand.
it's yes, it's very strong in what it represents.
You can already see some positioning happening in terms of fighting for these runes. I got a couple of these nice tips getting dropped out as well. Some friendly ones. I do appreciate the friendly ones.
Friendly tips, yeah, those are good.
What is
I
it?
like them. But
T's got this whole meta where he's like, when you lose a fight, you tip the guy who wasn't at the fight. I was like, T, you're so toxic. Oh my god.
I thought it was going to be something unique that you told me. I was like, no, that's very normal. Very common toxic tip. Who was not at the fight, tip him.
Also, all of our friends have already started to say that Effie's laugh is super triggering now. They're like, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh god, I did something wrong.
Somebody did.
We're going to see the audible flinch on panels eventually when we panel and she giggles.
The real
Like, oh
question
no,
is
what
like,
do I
how many like hotkeys on these pro players' keyboards that they have to like add to voice lines. There's so many voice lines now. It's like they probably had to add like a couple extra chat wheels or something like
my
that.
friend actually set up, like, helped them set up a kick pedal so they could go through chat wheels
More
for one of
chat-
the teams. Yeah, I kid you not.
Yeah, that's how some people express themselves. Meander securing that range creep top as they fight. But Nightfall spamming the quills. He bought 4 mangoes to come to lane here. Gets a magic stick next. He just wants to stabilize in this lane. He should be okay though. In the mid lane, got the Puck versus the Storm. One of those nice classic matchups, I gotta say. So far, looking about even in last hits, and back in the bottom lane. It's a core Earthshaker, so it is a 3-position Earthshaker paired with a 4 Pugnut. So A little bit different, but you know, he's going to get his items a bit faster this way.
This is about what I expected, though, honestly. Like, once I saw that puck pick up, I was like, okay, this is definitely safe. He's going to be the little battery. He's going to sit on the outside of the fight. And Earthshaker has just been... I don't think I've seen much of it being played in that 4 position, really. If possible, they always seem to want it in that 3. Get the farm online, get those levels online, and then just start being a terror.
I mean, it's huge. Counter initiation, especially in all these like little pokey fights that are happening very often, having an Earthshaker be able to come in and just turn the tides is huge for your chances to win. So makes sense that it can be valuable if you can get there. He's got his Soul Ring instantly purchased here, which is going to make him semi-survivable against lifesteal. But one of the downsides is that Earthshaker doesn't stabilize his lane very well. Doesn't like stay alive when he gets pressured. So at some point, if Save leaves this lane, DM's just going to get like out-regened against Tomato.
It's pretty quiet for the time being. Looks like there is that water rune over here for Bryle to snap up.
He's got his bottle already, so that's good for him. GPK is on the way here. He's going to try to protect his water rune while his courier comes. It looks like he'll be fine here. Still getting the range creep. That was really nice done. He ended up sacrificing the refill for that, which is a bit interesting, but could have gotten a little bit more regen. But hey, if that's important to you, it is. A little bit of pull attempt by Moon Meander, ends up getting 2 melee creeps through to regain those. I don't really see money kills happening in the top lane, for example.
Kingslayer has to play very out of place. Like, he has to go for an Icarus dive, like, aggressively, and then just get caught out, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the only way that you'll find a kill.
Yeah, because killing Bristle's pretty unlikely. Like I said, Lycan is not really expecting to like be a lane winner. Maybe we'll see kill mid. Bryle and GPK have been fighting quite a bit so far. That could be it, or I don't know, maybe like Pugna dies or something like that. Or
I think we see a rotation. I think the first rotation coming out most likely, because Bryle's going to want to farm just a little bit longer than GPK is, unless he gets that Rune of Opportunity. I think that's most likely where we're going to see the action start ramping up. Being very aggressive here.
Did some good damage there. He approached GPK, missed his silence, I believe, to try to harass him a bit. That's kind of what it felt like. So GPK takes a bunch of damage. Bryle going for the Soul Ring after bottle, as we almost saw last game. And oh, there's an FB on the bot lane.
That was my T-Tor. Sorry, fam. Didn't realize that was happening so quickly.
So just ran him down. I mean, they didn't use that many resources. DM, like, he's just got Soul Ring 1 point of each. Kind of interesting that Dubu died there, but maybe got out regen. He's gonna head back bottom again, bring in a salve for Tomato, and they'll keep fighting.
So far, they're feeling pretty good about this lane here.
I mean, DM is doing a decent job pressing. Good rage there.
Good rage, but still needs to be very careful.
Ooh, that was not a good. Actually, I was thinking it was Blast on the same team. I was thinking it was the other team. You thought, my bad. The downside right now for fighting DM is that Earthshaker's HP is not so high that Feast is giving him a big advantage. So like if he just does the enchant into slap, it's a pretty big trade against Tomato here. So it's actually going just fine for Earthshaker.
It's a very slow start, it feels like, for most of these lanes, like we discussed earlier.
Yeah. Just the reality is that the kills are less likely to happen is all. It's always going to be either mid or down here, the Radiant safe lane.
Meander going to try to mess up some of these stacks here, doing a lot of scouting. Pretty typical stuff. This is the kind of hero that he does very well on. You know, things like the Mirana, who are able to do a bit of scouting. Things like the Monkey King as well. Seems to thrive on that. So we'll be trying to be as obnoxious as possible and mess with Kingslayer's stacks and whatnot.
Yeah, but right now Tomato's still being pressured. He earlier raged to dodge an enchant totem, and then when that ran out, DM just fissures them. It's like, it feels like no matter what they're doing, they're getting harassed heavily in this dual lane. So VP, kind of the masters of the laning stage, at least in the Eastern European region for a while there. Dubu taking a bunch of damage. They're moving over, looking to fissure block him. Ooh, unfortunately misplaced.
Wrong side, unfortunately.
So back to slapping creeps. Phoenix is going to do a double stack. The mid lane, GPK hitting 6. Storm is just slightly ahead of him. Lane's pretty darn even here. Rune's coming up. Let's see. It looks like VP's better position, but they're just going to go for the 50-50, and GPK does get the haste rune. Certainly some kill potential here. He chooses to move with it, but it looks like he's going to save it for now.
think he'll probably wait for like some sort of a response, if I had to guess. Or just seeing that opportunity really just show itself.
Like waiting for
like
somebody
somebody's trying
to rotate.
dive underneath tower or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of like I feel like right now he's going to play a little bit more reactive unless.
Makes sense. It's hard to gank a lifesteal anyways. You can't just like Dream Coil him. So you'd have to like chain stun into silence into Dream Coil or something like that. It's gonna be a little bit harder.
Dubu, Fissure Block comes out, stun him, hold him in place a little bit longer, in comes GPK. It was the position that they wanted, as now Tomato getting chased down, getting a couple of these clicks off here on this Puck. Still has the Dream Coil available, there it is, there's that rage we talked about, just gonna duck away again. Get up a couple more clicks, wait patiently, and that's a double kill now for GPK.
Honestly, Tomato played that perfectly. If he doesn't rage when he does, he gets hit by another Illusion Orb and then kind of just like right-click him to death anyways. So he played that correctly, but yeah, they get a little bit aggressive and Dubu gets caught again. The Pugna just doing a lot of damage with blast and right-clicks. He's offsetting what Bane normally does, which is win trades, and then he just gets fissure blocked and is forced into this like crappy fight. So Puck being able to show up as well, kind of close to the tower, just made that perfect for Virtus.pro.
Gonna go back to, you know, again, we see Moon Meander trying to interrupt whatever he can, keep some tabs over on what's going on in the jungle, knows that Kingslayer wants to be creating these stacks and whatnot.
He's trying to protect him in the meantime. Yeah, just checking for like cliff wards on the top. Moon Meander's gonna try to interrupt this pull here so he doesn't get a stack. I mean, it's a pretty effective way to spend your time here. This is almost certainly not gonna work.
It's very close, but unfortunately, yeah, he managed to,
Ooh, and Storm wants to take him now. Let's see if they can swap Kingslayer. They do, but they know they just want to take the stacks.
There's nothing that Kingslayer can do. I mean, the Puck is on its way. GPK hoping to possibly, you know, punish this, but has the Dream Coil back up. They have the
just that.
out.
He just got it up like 1 second after that ball lane into the pit. So at first I was like, man, too bad they didn't let him stack it. Then you could have gotten a little bit more gold, but they got in and out just in time, forced some rotations. Nightfall would have loved to take those. Like, as you can see, he just started jungling here on this medium camp. He would have cleared this very, very easily. Bristle's definitely one of the best stack clearers right now, especially for non-ancients. They just have a lot less HP, so good for Bristle. He's got his Vanguard finished with a Soul Ring, so killing him in lane is basically not going to happen. But like we expected, Lycan's getting farm, but Bristle's got a lot more at this point. His ability to do AoE clearing is very strong. Only about a 500 gold advantage on him, though, so can't wait to see what he buys.
So I can't get out the sound cues with the taunts too. Like the whole Bane with the Parisian cheese.
It's a good one.
Sound effect.
Man, I'm impressed like how much DM has been able to just get like whatever he wants out of this lane.
Yeah, he really has just been allowed to do whatever. He's very close to this Blink Dagger now. Save. He's gonna continue. They get off the Fissure Block here. Rage coming out now from Tomato. Dubu's just going to throw out the Nightmare. DM's just chasing after them, though. It does have the Echo Slam if they want to try to go after this, but GPK also in the vicinity, looking to see if anyone's going to get too greedy. Is there any stragglers? But no.
It was a good try. They're just fishing. If he lands, like, you know, if Tomato makes a mistake, basically, they can get a kill there. So it's worth putting the pressure in just to see what happens. And rather than go like a Witchblade, GPK is actually going for a Veil build, which makes a lot of sense actually. Because again, we talked about how much magic damage everybody on VP does. So rather than amplifying his damage a bit, for a pretty large amount of gold, Witchblade is not cheap at all. So spending 2,600 for Witchblade is not going to be as good as spending like, what, 1,500 for Veil. Veil's going to amp his team's damage by 18. It works really good with Pugna's second skill, Decrepify. I mean, it should also amplify Bristle Quills too, actually, because technically it counts as spell damage, but it's just physical. So Veil
kind
makes
of a weird
a lot of sense.
That, yeah.
And now he's just zoning the Lifestealer from his jungle. He like doesn't get a laning stage because he gets pressured a bunch. Now he's just getting followed around by GPK, and it's like, nope, sorry, you just don't get to farm.
And I think, you know, I was about to say, we have a fresh Blink Dagger picked up on DM here. GPK also is going to be teleporting in. They're looking for this fight. They know that they want this tower. And with the smoke, they'll be able to jump immediately with the Echo Slam over onto Bryle, the silence, and that's just a dead storm.
Really nicely done. And they didn't even have to use Dream Coil either, so that's still going to be a threat on the map for the next 80 seconds. Big pick-off. And now that Undying wants to pressure this tower, it's like they don't have their big boy Storm there, the level 9 hero with lots of levels. They
Still thinking about
will try.
go. Land the boundless over on GPK. Immediately ducking away, though.
Big miss.
Does have the Dream Coil. Is just going to run into the tree line. And there's the fortification, so.
A little mis-executed by Saberlight there. There was only a 1 second stun on Boundless Strike. He goes for the Centaur. Right click a little bit too often, or too long, and as a result misses the stun fall. They might have killed the puck if they executed that correctly. Either way, they got puck to lead. Not the worst, because now Saberlight can basically just auto-attack this, but usually you want to get kills. But hey, across the map, they get saved. Not terrible for Undying.
No, definitely looking and finding these openings wherever they can get them, which is very, very important. I believe that's their first kill of the game now. Because like you said, you know, GPK's been very, very obnoxious in the way that he's been following Tomato around, trying to put pressure on them. But immediately silence, but they follow up with the Fiend's Grip. This is not looking good for GPK. Are they going to get the kill to Tomato? Get the Brile.
Super well done there. The Dubu was ready. It's very difficult for Storm to catch the puck in that circumstance against anybody remotely good, but Dubu sitting there ready to grip was perfect. Hard for Puck to evade that with low levels of phase shift. So they do pressure Puck twice, top lane, and then once again here in the mid lane. So costing some resources, but Undying's playing really solid.
No, they definitely feel like, you know, sometimes you worry, especially in the best of two situation, right? You worry that, you know, they start to, maybe not tilt, but start to just get a little bit too anxious and they're not able to recover because you only get one more game against them here in these groups. So I'm glad to see that they've maybe not necessarily hit their stride, but definitely are feeling, you know, they're still feeling good. They're still feeling confident, and we're seeing it in the way that they're playing.
Bristleback is going for Egg Scepter immediately after his Vanguard. No boots upgrade or anything. Just wants to be able to control the enemy in team fights. And Eggs is going to be great for that because it's a good way to, like, despite not necessarily having time to right-click everybody, it's affecting the fight. You're lowering everybody's armor and giving them slow. And it's also going to make it easier to Roche because you get extra stacks against Roche. So if they do win a fight or get a pick off, then they're going to be able to turn that into Roche much easier than before.
So they're smoked up over on the side here. And Meander's trying to do as much scouting as possible. They haven't broken the smoke just yet. GPK will reveal himself. Moon still hugging around the tower. Think about going for that Wukong's. Gonna just draw it. Try to push them back, try to protect the tower, but there's just so many people here. The Sunray comes out on top of that, the Echo Slam, and GPK cleans up Meander.
Yeah, he put that down to protect himself from doing this aggressive move. He, you know, jumps down, he's got 12 bonus armor, and that way he can clear the creep wave and hopefully defend the tower. Because most of the time support Monkey King doesn't get much value out of his ulti. I think that was a fine approach, but they just had too much burst damage on the VP side. I mean, they committed an Echo Slam to it. They used the DD. I mean, that was a lot of resources. It's a 4-position hero, so it's okay. And they got the tower and unlocked the jungle. So considering how weak their team is at tower pushing, absolutely worth it in the context.
All right, well, we're seeing some heavy mirroring going on now on the map. We've got, of course, Lycan, who's pushing the top wave. We've got the inhabitants of Undying just over in the jungle, and we've got a lot of vision getting placed down over here on the side of VP, trying to shore up this side as well. So I think the big battle is going to be coming for these mid towers. Still haven't seen an egg just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5-position egg, so it's a little bit harder to get in the fight sometimes. But yeah, Nightfall with his Eggs on the way. They're definitely committing to some tower pushing, and having a support Pugna is going to make that a little bit easier too.
He's just going to let it go though. Tomato kind of wandering around over in this area. He needs to be very, very careful. He does not get spotted out. But down goes the tower immediately. The illusory orb coming out from GPK, hoping that maybe they'll catch him. He grabs up the bounty rune and is just going to hightail it out. But they planted their flag over here on the side of VP. This triangle area, nothing's going to happen without them knowing about it now. Light also just teleporting back to his side of the map. And the top area now belonging to VP.
Okay, pretty good for them. Being able to control the Tri-Camp is obviously huge. Undying looking for a straggler here. Dubu's going to run into them. Not great for him. Puts a ward down to help Juke, but yeah, this observe.
I mean, they don't know that the storm is there, so potentially they can turn it back around, but no, Dubu just falls way too fast here. Brile trying to kill DM, the ball boundless here. Meander dropping the ultimate.
Oh, so
they
close.
get Brile, but they'll follow up, get the kill on DM as well.
That was unfortunate when GPK is so ready for that.
Yep, up dive drain, Nightfall just chasing down. Get the kill on Saberlight.
That's a tough one. If you don't have boots, like Bristol's gonna completely
You have
destroy
so
you
much
with the
slow.
Yeah.
So much slow.
He needs his ulti there, and even if he had his ulti, he probably doesn't want to pop it just for that. He's almost got his Helmet the Overlord finished, but he had 600 more gold, and that was just a fight that Undying was not quite ready to fight. They were looking for a small pick-off. It didn't go so well. Saberlight moved over maybe to help, but he gets caught too, so just really unfortunate there for Undying.
It feels like VP is really just starting to choke out this map from the side of Undying. How concerned are we about this?
It's a big worry for sure. I mean, look at Nightfall's position right now. Sitting on the Tri-Camp by himself because he knows he can clear this. Again, he's a Bristleback with a Vanguard and an Axe. Like, he's happy to hang out here. Skill build kind of interesting too. He didn't even max Bristleback. He's getting Nazulu maxed out a bit faster due to the Axe, so he knew. He's like, I don't need to go that tanky this game. I'm going to be fine. He just plays up in his opponent's face. He's not going to let them farm efficiently. If they just stand here and Undying is done farming top, they're going to have to like teleport. They can't like walk to their Tri-Camp. It's like, it just makes everything more inefficient on Undying side and helps compound the gold advantage for VP.
We get a momentary pause here.
我不理解。
Looks like they've got a little bit of a lag going on.
Oh no.
TeamSpeak is down.
Their TeamSpeak server for both teams is destroyed. I'm sure they got a backup.
Dota has they're chatting game.
Start screaming. You're in the same room.
An ephemeral masterpiece.
Everyone's so spoiled now. Need a chat server to talk to their teammates. Like, come on, guys. I know you can remember back in the day.
You got to hear all the little details though when you're playing Dota. Like that's actually so important, Purge.
So, what, you need to hear your ally like whisper, like, he's got to be KB. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying like in general, like even for
They
me
can hear the
casting.
game sounds.
Yeah.
They just can't hear each other's voices as well as what I'm saying.
Right. No. That I'm saying like because you're saying well just talk to each other. You're in
Yeah.
the same room, but you got to be able to hear both. You have to have a
That's
good
true.
balance.
You have to take one ear off, and then it's just
Yeah.
you're losing the game sound. So that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
I mean, at least both of them are having issues, so it would at least be kind of balanced. But what if you have that one teammate that's got a little bit quieter of a voice?
That's a good point. It's tough when the Valve TeamSpeak servers go down, man. You just gotta patch that one. It'll come.
There is a Steam voice chat. I'm just going to throw
Oh,
that
that's
out
true.
there still.
I don't know if that's reliable enough for
Flax
Valve
was
to put on
very
their
excited
tournament.
when that came out because he
was.
does not like the other service that shall not be named.
Yeah, of course, but he's gotten used to it. I think it's, I don't know, his bias has slowly gone away. His complaints were a little interesting. Maybe, dare I say, overblown? I'm not sure. Anyways, 4K gold advantage for VP. Bristle's in an excellent place. Lifestealer's got some items. He's got an armlet and his Sange, so he's got damage. And most importantly, if they have like a pretty straightforward fight, he can infest somebody, pump up their HP by 400, soon to be 800. That's going to be big in some of these engagements, because before Storm gets BKB, he needs to be able to survive these coil durations. And being able to infest Storm and give him 800 HP could be huge, assuming he lives long enough for the coil to go away. Or they need to somehow initiate on Puck and kill him.
That's very difficult.
So hard. You have to like grip him basically.
Yeah. I think you're exclusively holding that Fiend's grip for the Puck if possible at this
frickin'
point.
good luck, man. You could be...
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it was easy.
Puck silenced, fissured by Earthshaker. It could be... I guess that's it. Those are the only real disables, but... so maybe not the hardest to get the grip off, but you have to make sure you don't get caught as well, you know? So...
I think one thing that we can, because we do have this little bit of a pause, is we do have some TI records broken already with this game. Game before, previously, actually. It was the fastest Sven, was it Blink? So far for this TI?
No, this is BKB.
Oh, it's BKB, sorry.
Fastest Sven BKB.
Fastest
I think
Sven
at TI
BKB,
before.
and it was also the closest net worth gap between the two teams at the time.
What do you mean at the time? Like when he got his BKB?
No, just in general. Like so far in this tournament.
Wasn't it the first game that finished?
Yes, in the first game. You get the message too.
I'm gonna look at it because
Just go look
the way
at it,
you're
because
wording it is giving me
I'm trying to do
confusion.
it from memory.
That's a mistake. Stats are very important.
I am very much in charge of like what you're seeing on the screen right
VP
now.
versus
Please,
Undying
sir.
game 1 got some neat all-time TI records. Most couriers killed in a game 7, but that's very likely because it's the first TI
with-
where both
everyone's got
teams
their
had
own
5
card, yeah,
couriers, so that makes sense. It's the closest match. 3K net worth difference. That one doesn't make sense to me. And the third one, earliest Sven BKB, we can all understand.
Yes, we can understand that one. I mean, these are coming from Leia, right?
So the way he told me to say his name was Lemur.
Lemur. Okay.
Because it looks like Leah Mare or something, but a little different.
Okay. Well, we
Okay.
have we're getting stats fed to us here, thanks to Lemur. Oh, I don't think it's lemur. I think it's like lemur.
No. I said like the animal. He said yes. I think it's lemur.
Okay.
But
we will ask him.
I'll ask him again.
For Radiant forces.
But we do have this infestation coming on now. The
Good
side
jump.
of Undying.
This is
They
perfect.
find themselves DM, but they can't follow up. They get the Fiend script off, though, over at the back line. They need to deal with Dubu. Nice stomp coming out, but still will end up losing that Bane. DM sitting very, very low. You can see the Pugna sitting into position. Already going to start putting a little bit of that juice back into the gamer over there.
I can really respect Dubu just holding that all the way. He's like, uh-oh, this isn't going good. His team's running away. He's like, gotta hold this down. And it makes sense. Like
He's in it, though, at that point, right? You can't just...
It's like, cancel. What are you going to do? Run away? Good luck.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Committing the catching Earthshaker there was perfect. That was the guy they want to grab because they want to make sure that Earthshaker isn't there to land an Echo Slam. If you just interrupt his Blink Dagger, you've already done a lot, basically. Because then you only have to deal with Puck Coil, basically. Right. So it was a little hard for them to fully commit, and they wisely realized that they shouldn't ultimately commit. And it wasn't amazing for Undying to lose their cooldowns, but the fact they didn't lose more heroes than just one makes that not terrible. They just got to finish their Helm of the Overlord. That's still coming here. And once they get that, they're going to have an Ancient Creep instead of just a little regular one. That'll make their team fight a little bit better. But VP's just doing a great job playing the map. They're playing in the center of the map. They're playing in the spaces between the lanes, forcing Undying to have to run weird ways. And by doing so, they just are pressuring really good. Brawl split pushes a bit, but he TPs back again.
It's really all he has to do. Like, at this point, you just need to get that Helm of the Overlord online.
Yeah, it's really, really important. Interesting Monkey build, though. He went for fast Spirit Vessel this game. That's one of the cool things about Monkey support. So you can build, like, almost anything. You don't have to buy boots. So, like, he goes for the Spirit Vessel. It's going to be great against Pugna and others.
So they go for the smoke because they want to know if the Monkey is nearby. Because they're already in the pit when I popped it. Very, very smart. Because you know that he's going to be on the prowl. But like,
these Lycan Wolves don't break smoke. So they get the vision and they don't know that they're there.
Go, drop the Wukong. So back out for a moment. The Wolf back in. But look at the position. They don't want it. Yeah, they end up losing some of those stacks of goo. They're going to have to restart. But again, look at what you have for AoE. You no longer have the Wukong. Yeah. You've got the Echo Slam that you've got to watch out for. Is it going to be able to ground it?
Oh, the Echo Port.
And that is one dead Moon Meander and one Aegis of the Immortal getting placed over on Nightfall.
It was like perfect by Moon. He fissures, it doesn't get picked up, he jumps in, but they're like, hell no, dude. We're keeping that.
They were baiting it. It felt almost
I mean, it's an Echo Fort, and Moon's up in 20 seconds. That was not a bad play at all by Moon. He slowed things down. He bought his team more time to farm. Really not a bad move. I was very pleased to see that happen. Tomato's going to try to slow down this mid wave, but again, if he gets...
out the rage.
He has to. Like, he can't stay for longer than, like, 3 goose stacks. And at least Nightfall's at half HP that helps. Brawl gets a kill in the side lane with Dubu. That's the grip. And now
they're
DM
gonna be able
as
to
well.
Get DM. This is big for them. This buys them a little bit more time. He's going to get nightmared here by Dubu. Moon Meander is nearby, and he's going to collect himself a kill.
Huge pick off there. That was so big that they got those 2 guys. Because you've got Bristle pushing the mid with Aegis, and you're like, oh, surely this is, they're going to be sitting behind it. But no, they were off on the map. That Undying Ward spots them out, and they're able to get that big double kill. The 3 position and the 2 position, all it cost them was a grip. What a pick off. Now they're looking for Lycan.
They really want him. Look at all these pings coming out. They know that he's up there. They saw that he was traveling out.
It's fine.
Don't have anything, though, to cancel out this TP, so he's absolutely fine. Someone needs to get a Yules or something.
What are you going to do, supernova that guy? Like, oh no, he
it's
might
It's going to take too long. It's going to take way too long.
You got to preempt it, be like, he might TP in 3 seconds, so I got a supernova.
Yeah, and then you definitely get a tip when you supernova, and he just
he's
hightails
like,
it out.
What?
He was like, whatever, nerd.
Yeah, it takes a while here. Nightfall finishing up as Yasha here, so his right click is more effective. It's the build to go if you're playing core Bristleback. And he'll have it finished, but the split pushing on Undying soon is great. Look, they've evened up the net worth. Done a really good job here. Moon
right.
It's close. GPK doesn't get the vision of him because he jumped earlier.
They have no way to cancel out the Rage Teleport, so Tomato's absolutely fine. Just going to go right back to the top wave and continue to farm, get that Scotty online as fast as possible.
Dubu making calls here. Head over to the enemy jungle. This is where they're going to make their next play. They've got grip up in 13 seconds, but let's see if they get spotted. They might have seen the Bristle. They know where he is, but they don't want to go for him. They want to go for that back line, and they see DM.
They've got the back line. Oh, beautiful hit here, but they back off. They're too unsure.
the rest of the team was still very focused on going towards the mid lane, and they might not have seen Nightfall there. So yeah, now as a result, VP is the one smoking. If Monkey's in a good spot, this could be perfect here.
Look at the way that they're approaching. The jump forward immediately from DM. They want to get rid of Moonmeander. They've had enough of his nonsense. He's being held into place. They've got the life drain, and that's a dead Monkey King. Rest of the team here, they're getting into the tree lines. They're saying, it is time to go, my friends. In fact, hitching a ride, actually, in Brile, so.
He had to do that because he TP'd to the top lane early. That was pretty much ideal for Undying once again. Like, they engage on a core, Monkey breaks the smoke, he gets a ward, D-ward at the same time. That was initiations, they were separated, that you're again trading a core for support. And that's hurting Puck a lot. Like, Puck's net worth is still relatively fine, but it's not ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, they have an Infist Bomb and a double damage over on Brile. The drag back immediately onto DM. Need maybe one more hit, but again, Save in the perfect positioning. Again, we'll be able to keep them alive. Another Nightmare coming out. They're looking, transfers it over immediately. Dubu's on the other side of this. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to survive, though. There's just too much damage and too many heroes.
All right, not too bad. When Dubu's going for the Ags on Bane. I love this item if you can get it. It gives you 2 Fiend's Grip illusions, and it lowers your cooldown by 45 seconds. And we've seen some very crucial Fiend's Grips so far this game, right? Like big grips on Puck. It is. So lowering the cooldown by a lot is big, and creating 2 illusions, they're pretty separate from you. That means that you can't just interrupt it with 1 fissure or necessarily 1 Puck silence. There's like always going to be one of the illusions holding the grip. So it's going to turn Dubu's ultimate to be even more powerful than it was before. And the fact that he's kind of almost there, 1,800 gold to go, is impressive, honestly. I'm surprised he's getting this close to finishing the item. So
I mean, he's been very active. He's a big participant in a lot of these ganks that are going on. So
that's true.
He's getting that gold. They're jumping over onto Saberlight, though. DM making his way over. They do have the BKB finish now for Storm if they want to try to engage on this game. Or to get that. Oh!
Moon Meander, absolute MVP of that one. Holy crap. The fissure came out. He instantly starts TPing, which is really sick by Saberlight as well. And then Moon protects it with the Boundless Strike. And they burned Echo afterwards to try to catch him, and they didn't get him. Looks like they'll get the tower. Oh, maybe not. Oh, wow, what a play. Still Aegis on VP, but man, Undying's just really dragging him across the map repeatedly here.
I mean, I told you, this is the kind of hero that Moonmeander really shines on, are the ones that can just provide some poke in like the vision and just be a general nuisance.
Dubu playing bot here. GPK's in the area, would love to get the snag, but that Dire Ward's going to spot it out.
They're going to open up with the Dream Coil, drop the Veil. Over on the back lines, Dubu getting jumped upon. Going to get the Storm out. They're not going to be able to save Dubu, though. Dubu is, in fact, toast.
Yeah, as soon as GPK uses the ulti there, Dubu does the right thing. He can't really approach past the creep wave to try to grip GPK, so instead he runs immediately to the left, knowing that enemies are likely to come with, and he's able to interrupt some of them to help guarantee a Storm lift. So, you know, they tried it, it didn't work out, everything's fine. 2k gold advantage for VP though, so they do get a small advantage from this. Them playing the middle of the map is always going to be more efficient because the distance to the sides is less, whereas Undying is doing a lot of like push out one lane then TP to the other one. That gives you less options for moves, so maybe a bit more predictable. So if VP keeps reading this like they are and punishing a bit, they're going to keep getting more gold advantage. So maybe Undying needs to change it up, do something a little bit unsafe to try to get a pick off where their opponents don't expect it.
We do have the Aghanim Scepter completed now for Lycan, so we're going to be seeing some of those wolf bites going down.
Undead Wolf incoming. You don't want to do it on a ranged hero because they become melee, so you're definitely not going to want to do it on Storm, but on Lifestealer, very good. Max movement speed, and he's going to get a crit, and any damage that either of them do, lifesteals the other. So basically, like, killing Lifestealer, good luck. And the damage amp that you're going to get from it is huge anyways, so... you know, it's like a free Daedalus or something. 40% chance to crit for almost double damage, so it's a 40% damage increase on Tomato. It's big.
Ooh, they spotted DM over here. They were going for a smoke play for themselves. Brile
they thought it was the illusion though.
Out the jump forward again. Nightfall turning his back towards everyone as Tomato starts chasing after. He is, of course, that undead wolf like we talked about. Just getting handled a little bit though. Can't quite find the angle to come through. Got a lot of speed here. Trying to get themselves over onto the high ground. Moonmeander giving a lot of vision again. Nightfall just continues to stack up. We've got 7 stacks of that nasal goo over there. But again, this is a very fast Lycan. If you don't have that lockdown, he is just going to run away. Rather, not the Lycan.
The Lycan Eggs. I mean, it's actually so good that they have it for that reason. Like, if they don't have Lycan Eggs, he's actually so countered by Bristle.
So walking towards the shrine here. VP very much in control of the situation.
guess there.
Dubu, again, looks like he is going to be the sacrificial lamb. They're going to place a lot of attention on chase him down and just slowly but surely burn him away.
Oh, sorry, it was the outpost that gave vision of him behind the tree. That's how they got that. But yeah, if they don't have Lycan ulti on the Lifestealer, he just has to play this game where he gets like enough goose stacks in his slowed. He's like, well, I got to pop Rage now. When Rage is done and he runs away, that's when VP chases and goes for the chain disable as soon as it ends. So by having Lycan ulti on him, it actually gives him a better window to try to look for openings. It's actually such a smart item build in this game against the Bristle carry. Still kind of commonly built anyways, but this game, it feels really good to have.
I think it's definitely situational, you know. It made so much sense.
And because Lycan is like, he's got decent net worth here, but lots of split pushing is what we're seeing. Saberlight pushing out bot lane, now going to pick up a shard and base. He's going to be using that to summon some wolves now, get some lane push out, which is going to make it a little bit easier for them to continue splitting VP around the map here. Mage Slayer finish on Monkey King. That's going to be very good against all the magic sources from VP. Kind of similar to how Veil is good. Mage Slayer's good as well against the same team. So he's doing great.
Have we seen an egg yet?
No.
I didn't think so.
There's been no eggs. But think of how... Ooh.
Jeez. Okay, Bryle was
Missed another one. That was a good
caught there by that Dream Foil.
Echo Slam as well. They probably led Echo Slam, I would imagine. But depends.
I think you're very happy about that. Yeah, Nightfall just going to walk right into the base, start whacking away on the tower here. Of course, Dubu can slow it down just a little bit. But how do you approach this? I mean, at least you don't have the Echo, right? So that's one thing that
that's true.
Feels good if you're Undying, but just you're trying to get this beast out of the way.
Yeah, you just got to slap him. But his regen is really high. And Feeble helps. They've got Spear Vessel, but they got to. I mean, they're going to lose the tower. Probably the melee racks, but we'll see. They might engage ahead of time.
Looking to move forward here, Tomato. Of course, that Undead Wolf, like we talked about, they're just trying to get rid of this Helm of the Overlord. Look at this. Look at the battery pack that they're able to do over onto the Bristleback. Stands toe-to-toe the entire time. Again, the snap comes out. The follow-up, though. Tomato's still left over here on the side, and they're giving them the suck over on the back lines coming out from that Pagana. DEM, though, taking so much damage. The egg does manage to go up. They've got the Quiver Kid to turn back around. Can they save him in time? Takedown save. Dubu buying back. Nightfall's not looking very good. He's going to fall next as Kingslayer is left behind. Tried everything he could, but is going to eventually fall.
They do it. They save the melee barracks. I'm really surprised that they were able to pull this out. And only one buyback from Dubu. That's it?
Yeah, that's all it took.
Incredible hold there for Undying. I'm surprised they were able to make it work, but their combo of abilities just looked so good at the start. It was looking a little bit iffy on Lifestealer. They used the coil on him thinking, oh, we can get this pick off, but the Nightmare buys him a second of invulnerability, and then after that ends, they just turned and started slapping the Bristleback. I think that helped keep Lifestealer alive a bit. And then the nice Monkey King ulti, the grip instantly on Earthshaker, so there was no follow-up to guarantee the Tomato Lifestealer death. That kind of like turned the fight in a big way. So turns out that they're able to win that one. And now Roshan as well with a shard. Great moment for Undying.
Was this a situation where VP just got too impatient? Because, you know, they got that pick off, right? But
I wouldn't say it's impatience. It's more like they saw an opportunity, but it wasn't that good of an opportunity. That for whatever reason, I don't know if it was like Earthshaker got hit by Boundless Strike, but what should have happened is as soon as they Dream Coil and the coil breaks on Lifestealer is that Earthshaker should be on top of him pressing his buttons, and he was like 400 units to the north. And I didn't see what interrupted him. It could have been, you know, a stun from Monkey King. It could have been an Orchid from Storm or a right click from Storm or something.
Yeah.
For whatever, it could have been a wolf attacking him. You'd have to watch.
Just something that
we need a weatherman to figure this one out, unfortunately. But it was a very crucial moment that they were able to grip him and stop that follow-up. And as a result, VP used resources. They didn't get the kill they wanted, and Undying's able to make a play to turn that around as a result.
Oh, look at Bryle. He wants this. Does have the side over onto safe. He just didn't pick up a 4-7. He's got the Essence Ring, so pretty survivable. He's going to be able to just walk away from this engagement, but Saberlight, of course, continuing to put that pressure down on towers, will be able to take the top Dire.
Ooh, open wounds on Bristle here. He's got an AC, though. He's really fast. And he's got spider legs, too.
He's zooming, baby.
He's actually max movement speed with 9 stacks right now between S and Y and spider legs. This is insane. It's gonna be the same speed as this freaking undead wolf.
It's a speedy fight here as he just spider legs right over the cliff, because it does not give them free pathing, unfortunately. Not like the scooter legs.
I mean, the Lycan Shapeshift axe is still good, but like the fact that Bristol's the same speed is kind of bonkers.
It's very scary.
It like offsets a lot of your advantage there on the lifestealer. With that said, I mean, they've got slows, they've got Scotty, they've got a lot of anti-healing, like an insane amount of anti-healing in this game, which is very useful against Bristle. He went for the health regen talent, which is pretty common if you're going right click or quill stack damage is nice, but I generally like regen when I'm more right click Bristle. But yeah, they've got the Scotty, they have Spirit Vessel, they've got tons of anti-regen, so Bristle does have to be careful. No BKB in sight. He's going to start building towards it now, but until he gets that, if he does get moderately out of position and his team can't back him up, he is definitely killable this game.
I will say that Undying continues to be able to just push out these waves very, very nicely. Tomato having to be a bit careful. Dubu, though, always very close by, ready to jump in if necessary, or give his life in many of the cases, which it seems to be.
And Tomato picks up Shadow Blade next. He's going to go for the old Silver Edge build to give him an ability to break the Bristle. Now, that if in that circumstance, they can like just kill Bristle, even if he's not too out of position. But for now, not really the case.
Case here as they do end up taking down Dubu, and they're seeing an opening now. The fly away here coming up from Kingslayer does still have the egg. Tomato, he's very, very fast, but he does get stunned by DM. He's going to start putting out a little bit more damage here onto Nightfall, but they have a couple stacks of goo over here. Those spider legs just cutting right through. Wants to make sure that Moon Meander can't head out in those trees. DM, another fissure coming out. It's just getting very, very difficult to deal with Tomato, though, like we talked about. And again, he's that feral wolf. Back off. Moon Meander sitting in the trees. Nightfall, he's split up from the rest of the team. GBK has to be very, very careful. Does have the Yule Scepter if needed. Brile with the BKB. They're looking for this opening. Kingslayer looking, just going to be able to go swoop off to the side as they're putting a lot of damage over onto Brile. They managed to go and drop that Dream Coil egg over on the side as well. So hold him into place. Brile falls. The Echo Slam comes out. Tomato, he's left all alone. He is stunned into place. That is going to be an Aegis. That is going to pop as they wait patiently. Moon Meander looking for the opening, immediately throwing out the stun, trying to protect Tomato as much as they can. They get the buyback. Brile coming in, gets a kill on DM. So now Nightfall is forced to run away. Safe nearby. They realize that he's there. The Force Staff's not going to be able to save him as he's going to get dragged right back in with this Vortex. He's got silenced up. Not going to be able to go and get any sort of a life drain. Tomato getting the double kill as Nightfall has to run for his life. They have control over of the outpost as well. Tomato looking for the opening. Moon Meander just jumping from tree to tree. Wants to keep tabs on Nightfall, but it's very difficult. He's very tanky, despite everything that they've done for the itemization. It's gonna be difficult, but...
Really nicely done by Saberlight. He keeps the top lane pushed in the whole time. Like, it's very clear the Ancient Creeps are not good against Bristle. You don't want them to be in the same area. He keeps the top the whole game, and now when they finally cross the map with a kill, Creep Wave's in the perfect position. They don't have to worry about pushing it at all. And now they get a tower.
They might get even more than that, too. Now look at this. Nightfall has to be incredibly careful here. They've got the Silver Edge online. They've got this dust. They can see him. They're just running him down at this time. GPK is trying everything he can, trying to get him away from Nightfall, but they're losing these buildings as they're trying to keep him alive.
Yeah, Tomato's build just feels very effective. So much HP. Puck doesn't do much.
Alright, he manages to grab Saberlight. Not going to be able to run away that quickly. Moon Meander trying the best that he can to slow them down. The zip forward again coming out from Brile. Saberlight is down. Brile also popping the BKB. Get the Fiend's Grip off over onto Nightfall.
They got Bristle.
He is dead. Dead for 90 seconds. They don't have the buyback. Save too. It's just getting chomped away here by Tomato. Buyback coming out now from Save. They need to keep him up so that way they can keep them out of the base. But they end up losing Nightfall.
It's just this Lifestealer feels so survivable, basically. Bristle isn't a good solution here. Lifestealer slaps people, and he stays alive because his raw HP is high, and he's full movement speed, so like slows don't matter either, and he still has rage ready to go. Like, look what Puck does to him.
No.
Lifestealer just starts hitting him back, and he's like, oh, I'm healing a huge amount from your HP. So like, Tomato doesn't have that many threats this game, actually. It's making him feel quite good, and Undying has had 2 now very timely buybacks and skirmishes. They haven't been overcommitting resources, and it's been giving them a lot of advantage.
Look at DM, he's trying to be so patient. He's trying to look for this Echo Slam. Jumps forward immediately over on Tomato. All right, that is a dead Tomato, a dead Lifestealer. DM, though, has to run. The rest of the team, they go up, they throw off the egg. Moon Meander trying to decide where he wants to go, but he does get decrepified by Save. Moon Meander, there's the blast, the stun from the egg popping. DM slowly clicking him down. Looks like Moon Meander's going to fall. Dubu looks like he's next on the list as the rest of the team is forced to run away on the side of Undying.
Big team fight cleanup there. I believe that was a Decrep plus rest of combo. Probably, I didn't see the very initiation, but it was probably like either Fissure from range or Puck Silence first. That way he doesn't get to rage, then all the damage he takes is massively amplified. He had good HP, but not enough to survive in that circumstance. He even has like the Titan Slip, so he had some magic resistance too, but man, he popped almost instantly. So great fight there by VP, winning that engagement despite Undying looking like they had some momentum. But on the bright side, all the creep waves pushed out, so even though they win that fight, it's not like they could cross the map and take a barracks of their own. They got to go resume playing how things are going, reset a bit. So.
All right, we do have some more ways of holding down this raging Lifestealer, though. We do have the Abyssal Blade picked up now for Bristleback, so that's going to make these engagements a little bit tidier. But the way that they're playing, the way that they're dipping in and out, really just beautiful stuff coming out from here.
Saberlight just ultied just now to keep his creep alive.
This is not good, though, because it's not going to keep him alive. It's looking like Kingslayer taking a lot of damage here, is silenced up. He's not going to be able to... Oh, no! Save coming in as a little battery. Actually going to be able to keep Kingslayer alive just a little bit longer. The Fiend's Grip coming out over on the back end. They'll take down Kingslayer. They take down DM. The rest of VP now forced to flee. Trying to keep tabs over here onto Nightfall. Storm zipping as fast as he can. Not going to be able to quite get their hands, though, over onto Nightfall this time.
All right, good pickoffs, though. I mean, I thought Saberlight just ultied to cover his creep, and I think he did, but I mean, he's the perfect guy to go on. He's tanky. He doesn't do that much damage anyways, so like, he wants his opponents to use like Dream Coil. He does not care that much. He just wants to be the tanky guy that's constantly pushing in lanes, and he's doing a great job on it.
That fastest click of the buttons over here. Bryle trying to play with GPK. GPK playing right back with him, zipping forward again. Do have that Orchid Silence, but he's going to be able to use the Yules. He's going to be able to go dip away, and Bryle just doesn't quite have maybe... Oh, but they are in position, actually. Yeah, look at those Moon Meanders here. Courier does end up falling, but it's so hard to get your hands on this puck if you don't have Dubu nearby.
Yeah, very tough. And they spent a lot of time chasing him there, too, rather than pushing in. So a little bit of a detriment, but ultimately, VP's slightly in the lead with their 3K advantage. Preventing Undying from crossing the map means they don't lose any major tactical things. Save pressure from top. Nightfall is hanging out top. He's got Abyssal Blade now, so now he's got some way to actually like set up the fight here. The Abyssal against Lifestealer is another great option. Abyssal, Lifestealer, follow up with Echo Slam and Decrep and all that other great stuff. So VP gets options, but so does Undying. AC is finished on Lycan now, so their survivability against Bristle has gone up a lot in this moment. Almost a nullifier on Monkey King. He's got a Sacred Relic picked up, so that's going to basically give them save against whoever tries to Glimmer.
His courier died.
Oh, that's a big
so it's
snipe
actually
then.
Completed as soon as he can actually get it retrieved off the courier.
It's very good against Pugna and Glimmer Cape. And they have both of those items in spades, so 2 Glimmers and the Pugna to save an ally. So you can just hit the guy with the nullifier. That supports dying, basically. It's going to make Lifestealer's job a lot easier because he's not going to have to carry dust to like run around the backline at max movement speed.
Again, Moon Meanders is going to be keeping tabs here. They'll throw Tomato forward. Roach is back up. This is a big deal. They definitely want to challenge this.
All right, here's a big change though. Nightfall just gets the book, hits 25, picks up the Warpath damage stack. He's getting 59 damage per ability that he casts. Now his right click is going to be insane. It's going to look like he's a Divine Rapier here.
But look at the poking back and forth. He's the Dagon over in Tomato as well. Decrep gets dropped, throwing out the Illusory Orb, trying to get as much information as possible.
It's a lot of orbs with the Arcane Rune.
This is, oh my god, this is like the hardest game to ops because you've got a Storm and you've got a Puck.
Yeah, they're kind of jumping around all over the place.
Apologies, guys. I'm not trying to make you seasick, I promise. It's just, woo, lad. Should have requested the JJ.
The Observer. Only so many observers to go around, guys.
There is. We are trying our best here.
So Undying moving across the map now with their gem. Still 40 seconds left for the Monkey King Nullifier. That would have felt so good, but it'll come back eventually. VP also across the map. Earthshaker has smoked. Oh, sorry, just Ninja Gear here for him. But he'll be looking for just targets.
You know, a lot of delivery services are actually struggling right now to be able
really
to arrive things on time. So, you know, it's just a minor setback. I'm sure it'll get delivered, you know.
The Axe is ready on Bane as well. It's been up for a bit. He's almost got an Aether Lens too, so watch out for that. Dubu should have a good grip no matter what. Do they know about the Roche? They don't have vision, but they're going to guess.
There's a BKB coming out now for Nightfall as well.
All right, Wolves
It's
in the
not
pit.
there yet, though.
They
It's
see.
not there yet.
They're gonna have to
Motto
go.
jumping in immediately. They're going to try to fight through
Good
this.
grip.
And again, we get the grip off. That's very important. But the egg dropped over inside of the pit. Plus the Wukong. All the circles of the world coming out here. Can they finish off anyone? That was the question. Yes, they'll be able to take that Kingslayer. But they've already got the Aegis online here for Nightfall. Damn, falling. Nightfall is taking too much damage. That is going to be the Aegis coming right back up again. The buyback coming out too. Cheese was picked up over on Lifestealer. Nightfall popping the BKB is going to try to just get his way out. Maybe try to get a kill or two on the way as he turns back around. Looks like they'll find the kill on Dubu though. Tomato very, very swift is going to be able to walk out.
I mean, not bad. Tomato gets the Aegis, or I'm sorry, not the Aegis. He gets the cheese at least, and they're able to kill the Bristleback. I think the most important thing that happened was that BKB and Earthshaker gets popped before the grip. If he doesn't have that up, he's going to take way more damage. Like, Storm jumps in, he's gripped, like, Earthshaker dies without a doubt. So the fact that DM got his BKB off during that made a huge difference. So, ends up going about even. Game is still extremely tight. What was the other item? Was it a Refresher or was it an Axe?
For who? For which one?
There was a third item, wasn't there? Wasn't that was third Roche, right? So there should have been another item drop. So I'm gonna go pick through everything and find anything that looks weird. It must have been a Refresher, I guess, because I don't see any items.
Yeah, because the ags that we're seeing visibly right now are all
Yep, they're all
low.
actually yep. So probably was a Refresher that I'm not seeing, that somebody maybe popped in the chaos of the fight. 2 BKBs, something like that, absolutely is normal in those kinds of like hectic game moments.
All right, Wind Waker completed now for Puck.
That's a good one. Great, actually great solution. Perfect counter against Bane Grip. You just Yules the guy and Grip instantly ends. So you can basically use that to counter and initiate, basically offsetting Dubu's Axe. And, you know, maybe some other people that might be in trouble. So, not very commonly bought, but can be really good in a game circumstance like this.
Item.
It is. The downside is if your your allies BKB first, and then you get gripped, I bet you can't Wind Waker your BKB ally, I would guess, because I think you can't do that for your BKB too. I don't remember.
Smoke play now coming out from the side of Undying. Nightfall showing himself very forward here. They'll open up with Fiend's Grip, follow up on Ray, and they keep Nightfall alive though. The question, they're not going to be able to, no, there it is, It's going to get thrown all up into the air, followed up with a nice Dream Coil. The egg will pop. Moon Meander now is just left alone over the side, followed up with the Echo Slam. Are they going to be able to get this kill?
Huge fight.
Take down Saberlight, and then they'll follow up with Moon Meander. Tomato running for his life here. He's already went and munched on that cheese. He's already had a snack. It's not going to be able to leave in time. It is a double kill now for Nightfall.
Ooh, he made a pretty big mistake. I guess there was already a sentry down, but I can't help but think he maybe should have just ran instead. Enrage and Viz run for 3 seconds at TP, but either way, gets killed. That's a full wipe. Huge fight there, but Undying thought they had the moment. They jumped on Nightfall. They did a huge amount of damage, but he gets BKB off, and at that point they're like, uh-oh, this isn't good, and now buybacks are going to have to come.
Right in there, yeah. Look at the damage coming out from Nightfall right now. He's got 9 stacks of Warpath here.
Yeah,
Just
Bristleback.
has a Sunray from Kingslayer. He's going to be able to just keep him healed up. Another buyback, though, coming out. Bryle jumping forward again. They've got that battery, though. Bryle just gets bursted down. That was a dieback immediately.
Oh, they got to be really careful now. Bristol has no mana at least, so they might have a moment here where they don't feel comfortable going high ground, but at the very least they're going to poke
There's
these
no
racks.
Storm, though. There's no Storm to go and hold them down.
That's
like, you
true.
don't. Dubu's going to be up in about 2 seconds, but
There's no
I don't know
Echo.
about this.
No Echo. They've got Dream Coil. No Egg. Pugna's got a Hex on the backline, so that's the first rack. So they're just going to do the safe way. Kill Barracks instead. Much safer than going for Tier Force, because if you're that deep in the base when they buy back, if Storm does get buyback at any of these moments here, they don't know that he's missing 300 gold.
Another 20-something seconds here for DM to have that Echo back up. He's trying to get into place, though, again with that Ninja Gear, making him very stealthy is going to allow him to have a bit more freedom. Not going to be able to quite grab it, though. This is going to be another set of racks here.
They can't get the last one, though, so they're going to have to go for Tier 4s if they want to continue here.
Looks like they're thinking about it. Tomato sheeped up. The follow-up, though. And they get up. They do manage to go and break Nightfall. He's going to be very, very careful. That Yule's coming out. The snap as well. DM taking so much damage. They go. They drop the sentry. Not quite enough damage, though, to actually remove him.
And he did get to use the Wind Waker on a BKB'd ally. It still worked on him, so no matter what happens there, he protects DM's life, and he gets away with the Glimmer. So the fight is disengaged. Still 40 seconds left. Storm's got to get... He's a little close. 200 gold to go. He's getting as much gold as he can from the Philosopher's Stone, but he's going to be up before then.
GPK, it's hunting season. Wanted Saberlight not going to be able to quite grab him, though, as the Fisher just a bit off the mark. Safe has just been this little battery this entire time, just healing up everyone on his team, sitting very, very low himself. Does have to be a bit careful here. Motto, though, getting a couple of these bites off over onto Nightfall. Trying to find this opening again. That Cheap Stick coming out. The Echo Slam, the egg, everything. It's enough to take down Tomato. He has no buyback. And the Storm not going to be up for another 8 seconds. Egg goes off. They clean up on Moon Meander. Moon Meander has no buyback. And they're just going to rip through these buildings, and it's looking like they're going to go for a finish if they can. Nightfall, though, held into place. Jump onto the back lines, though, here over onto Dubu. The grab forward, though, from Bryle. He's trying everything he can. They don't want to give this up just yet, but he just has no solution right now. And this is looking like the end here. Purger just climbing after Dubu. He can't even get back into his fountain. Buyback comes out, though. They don't want to go down without a fight, but it's too late. The GG gets called. VP gonna take this 2-game series.
Very well deserved. I think Undying had a great chance to win this game. They won that like top fight. They were pressuring the tower, but all of a sudden the coordination of VP really paid off. They would start jumping in and killing Tomato really quick, and they didn't quite have the way to save him, unfortunately. So really well played by VP by all means. It looked a little tough, but once again, at some point they like break through and they just like completely run away with it.
Yeah, and again, you take a look at the scoreboard over here, and you can see just how efficient the movements have been. And also just, the way that they split up the map as well, the way that they were moving about. Definitely, it crippled Undying. They were slowly getting choked out, and they put up a good fight. Again, we talked about Moon Meander, just the way that he was able to use that vision, kind of poke back and forth, and of course Saberlight continuously pushing out these lanes, but
it was really cool to see like the different stages of this game, in my opinion. It's like Lifestealer's in trouble for a really long time, and then they get like Ags Lycan, and Lifestealer's like, oh, I can do basically anything and poke. And then it was like, oh, all of a sudden, now they're crushing VP, and Bristle doesn't look very good. And then late game, Bristle gets his 25 talent. It's like, oh, I'm a carry now. Like, actually, a really strong carry. So it was a very fun game to watch. And a good series. Not an unexpected outcome with VP winning. Undying, kind of within stone's throw. I could have seen them winning that match if they execute a little bit better, but today, VP is the better team in this set, at least.
I mean, yes, this is TI10. This is the time where you're going to see all the best teams showing up here, and any little mistake that you make, you're immediately going to get punished for it. And in this case, Undying, they look good. They had these moments. They looked very, very clean. But just a couple little mistakes, maybe some itemization, maybe some movements around the map, and VP they saw those opportunities, and they just immediately took them. So so our first game of the day is of course complete here with a 2-0 going over to VP, and we have plenty more games coming up. Our next series is of course Elephant versus Beast Coast, which should be a lot of fun. 2 regions that don't get to really ever play each other normally, so looking forward to it. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with that series.